That grim-faced figure was none other than Elder Huang. As one of the 4 great elders, he could only cast 5 runic spells at once, so this was the limit of their power. To think I've once feared their very existence. He pointed a finger straight at Shenlai. Then allow me to show you the true extent of my spiritual power. Closing his eyes, he summoned a colossal, blazing fire phoenix that soared towards the dragon. The 2 mythical beasts clashed in a battle to the death as the merciless dragon tore into the phoenix's neck. Shenlai cackled, pointing at the spectacle. Do you see that? Against the power of the 10th level peak Demigod Realm, your runic arts are nothing but insects. Qin Nan glanced at the talisman stone in his hand, a cunning smile on his face. Mo Yu pleaded with him. Qin Nan, don't push yourself. If you exhaust your spiritual power, you'll die. Shenlai also roared with laughter. Qin Nan, you can't possibly cast another 3rd-grade runic spell. But Qin Nan simply spread his hand and chanted, Power of the runes, manifest as the phoenix. All of his power surged into the fire phoenix. It erupted in a colossal flame that engulfed the entire arena, then slammed straight into the dragon's belly, causing the beast to vanish into thin air. Qin Nan directed the fire phoenix straight toward Shenlai's defensive barrier, even channeling his full power. The shield couldn't withstand the assault and shattered into a million pieces. Before he could even react, the fire phoenix opened its maw and unleashed a torrent of fire upon him. He screamed in agony, his clothes incinerated, his face a mask of utter disbelief. He couldn't accept what was happening. Impossible! Though completely drained, he tried to crawl toward Qin Nan, roaring, You're only at the 7th level Demigod Realm, a lowly peasant from the lower world. How could you possibly cast a 3rd-grade runic spell 3 times? Qin Nan delivered a swift kick to his waist, forcing him to his knees, and pressed the celestial sword against his throat. His voice was ice cold. Any last words? Shenlai just laughed like a madman, looking up defiantly. Go on. Kill me. The 4 great elders won't let you get away with this. Your death is certain. Qin Nan replied, I thought you might say something of value. It seems I overestimated you. With that, he swung his sword in one clean stroke, declaring, Then die. Yin Luo watched, her eyes filled with pure admiration. The 2nd-ranked warrior on the golden list was killed just like that. Qin Nan, your power is terrifying. Even my own spiritual strength is about to be surpassed. Mo Yu was also full of praise. Flattered by their compliments, Qin Nan scratched his head sheepishly. It might be because my constitution is different from ordinary people. I'm not entirely sure myself. His answer left the 2 girls staring at each other with 1,000 questions hanging in the air. He smiled, thinking to himself, My 5 Elements Physique not only allows me to absorb elemental spiritual energy from treasures, it also massively enhances my spiritual power. This secret must never be revealed to anyone. Mo Yu spoke up. Once we leave these ruins, the 4 great elders will definitely come looking for trouble. How should we deal with them then? The path of cultivation itself is one of defying the heavens. Facing all sorts of trouble and enemies is to be expected. We'll face challenges as they come. We just need to improve ourselves and handle things calmly, Qin Nan replied with composure. Yin Luo turned to look at him. You're right. In this world where the strong devour the weak, increasing one's own power is the only way to survive. Soon, the truth about the 4 great elders was revealed. Their names were Yu, Zhou, Huang, and Huang. Among them, Elder Yu was the strongest at the 4th level of the True God Realm. The weakest is Elder Huang, a seasoned-looking old woman at the 1st level of the True God Realm. Mo Yu analyzed, if we want to stand against them, our strength must at least reach the True God Realm, she added. Reaching the 10th level of the Demigod Realm is already incredibly difficult, but breaking through to the 11th and 12th levels is exponentially harder. It's a wall that is nearly impossible to overcome. Yin Luo agreed. I've heard Shenlai was stuck at the peak of the 10th level Demigod Realm for a long time, unable to break through to the 11th. Qin Nan pieced it together. So, that means to break past that barrier to the 11th level, Shenlai needed a massive amount of cultivation resources. That's why he came to these ruins in search of treasure. Mo Hu Hu continued. And to hoard all the treasures for himself, he ordered the deaths of us disciples from the lower world. She rested her chin on her hand, her eyes narrowing. Shenlai's master is Elder Yu, one of the 4 great elders of the Divine Palace. The fact that Shenlai could kill lower world disciples in the ruins has to be connected to Elder Yu. Qin Nan clenched his fist. I don't care who he is. If anyone tries to harm me, I will make them pay the price 100 times over. Yin Luo suddenly had an idea, raising a finger. I just remembered. Earlier, Shenlai found a large quantity of chaos, heaven pills, deep within the ruins. We can use them to raise our power. Qin Nan was surprised. Oh! What are these chaos heaven pills? Mo Yu explained. Even in the God Realm, chaos heaven pills are considered incredibly rare elixirs. They are perfectly suited for warriors at the demigod and early true God realms. They can grant a massive boost to spiritual power in a short amount of time, allowing one to achieve a breakthrough in their realm. He was still curious. So, how much more powerful are they? She held up a single finger. 50 grand righteousness pills. ... R. Equivalent to just 1 chaos heaven pill. Qin Nan's face lit up. 50 pills. Incredible. It truly is a rare treasure, Yin Luo said excitedly. Shenlai discovered a chest full of chaos heaven pills. I got a peek, and there were at least 100 of them. Qin Nan pointed at Shenlai's corpse. Then his stash is worth 5,000 grand righteousness pills. What a find. Mo Yu asked. Do you think he has any hidden on him? He moved closer. Let me check. Well now. He actually has one. This truly is a rare pill. Just holding it in my hand, I can feel the immense spiritual power sealed within. He held the pill up to admire it, and Mo Yu covered her mouth and giggled. Why don't you try one and see its effects for yourself? Yin Luo chimed in. That's right. I was lucky enough to have a few before. You're the only one here who hasn't tried it. Go on, taste it. Qin Nan hesitated for a moment, holding the pill. Well then, don't mind if I do. With that, he tossed the pill into his mouth. Instantly, he felt as if he were traveling through the galaxy, surrounded by colorful planets. Suddenly, one of them tore open into a cosmic rift. Below him, an endless ocean stretched out. He couldn't believe his eyes. Reaching out, he touched the cosmic void itself, thinking, this chaos, heaven pill, it contained the very spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Its power was immense. Seeing Qin Nan's entire aura suddenly shift, Yin Luo's cheeks flushed pink. She turned to Mo Yu and whispered, Whoa, ... All of a sudden, he seemed so handsome. What is happening to me? She glanced at Qin Nan, thinking to herself that every young woman has her moments of infatuation. This is incredible. I've broken through to the 8th level of the Demigod Realm. I've reached the bone-tempering stage, Qin Nan said, his excitement obvious as he returned to reality. Yin Luo rushed over, her eyes sparkling. Qin Nan, you're amazing. At this rate, it won't be long before you reach the peak of the Demigod Realm at the 10th level. Hearing this, he clenched his fists with fierce determination. Mo Yu crossed her arms and remarked, and that's just the effect of a single chaos heaven pill. Deep inside these ruins, there's a whole barrel of them. Even after you break through to the 10th level, if your innate talent is strong enough, you might even reach the legendary 11th and 12th levels, Yin Luo added, looking at him with pure admiration. In the spirit hunting grounds of the silver ranking, we were at the same level. But in the blink of an eye, you're already 2 entire realms above me. Qin Nan just smiled. Don't worry, just eat a few more chaos heaven pills, and you'll catch up to me in no time. At his words, she clenched her fists, her face burning with fighting spirit. All right, I want to pursue you. Qin Nan froze, a completely bewildered look on his face. Poursuivre? Mais? Mo Yu turned away to hide her smirk. Yin Luo, why are you confessing so suddenly? Realizing her slip of the tongue and that she was being teased, Yin Luo's face turned beet red. She quickly chased after Qin Nan to explain, "No, that's not it. I didn't mean it like that. You misunderstood. I meant I want to pursue Qin Nan's level of strength." Mo Yu could only watch them run around, chuckling to herself. Afterwards, the group headed into the inner hall, but their path was blocked by several of Shen Lai's disciples. "What's this? What are people from the lower realm doing here?" They whispered amongst themselves. Why didn't Brother Shen kill them? That's right. Logically, there's no way they could have survived an encounter with Brother Shen. Qin Nan stared them down with contempt. The Brother Shen you're all so proud of. Izaru redie corpse. If you know what's good for you, hand over the treasure chest and leave these ruins. If you do, I guarantee I won't harm you. One of them panicked. Impossible. Our Brother Shen is invincible. How could he possibly be killed by a lowly peasant from the lower realm like you? You must be dreaming. All three of them lunged forward, roaring, "Brothers, this man dares to insult our Brother Shen. Kill him and make him pay." Qin Nan planted his heaven's will sword into the ground. He then swung it forward, declaring, "I gave you a chance to live, but you didn't take it. Instead, you want to take my life. Truly the heart of a wolf. In that case, don't blame me for what comes next. Tribulation. Heaven sword style," he roared, as a wave of power erupted from his blade. It sent all three disciples flying backward. They collapsed to the ground in a heap, unable to even touch him. Looking at the three Bodhis, Yin Luo asked, puzzled, "Why are these disciples from the godly realm so brainwashed? Why follow Shen Lai so blindly and fanatically? Wouldn't it be better to stand on their own 2 feet? Mo Yu calmly explained. In the godly realm, there are many people like this. From the moment they're born, they possess far greater resources than anyone from the lower realm, yet they don't know how to use them properly. In the end, they dare to blame people from the lower realm for stealing their resources." Yin Luo scoffed. How utterly ridiculous. Qin Nan walked over to the chest. Placing a hand on it, he said, "If you rely on others, sooner or later, you become nothing but fish on a chopping block. If it were me, I would choose to become the support. Double quotes. ... The unshakable foundation for others. Only then can you truly protect the ones you care about." With that, he opened the chest. Inside were countless glistening golden chaos heaven pills. He beamed with joy. "Yin Luo, you are right. There are at least 100 pills in here. We've struck it." Rich Mo Yu looked on thoughtfully. No wonder Shen Lai wanted to keep this all for himself. With so many chaos heaven pills, ... his power could have broken through to the 11th level. Qin Nan held out his hand. A man's heart is more insatiable than a snake trying to swallow an elephant. If he hadn't tried to kill the lower realm disciples to hoard these pills, ... he wouldn't have died by my sword. Yin Luo nodded in agreement. People like Shen Lai deserve to die. Qin Nan, you did nothing wrong. All right, let's hurry and use these pills to cultivate. The elders will find out what happened soon. If they learn that Shen Lai is dead, they'll surely come after us with furious vengeance," Qin Nan said, and both girls agreed. "And let's begin our cultivation." "Right. Let's do it." Meanwhile, at the residence of the 4 great elders, the atmosphere was incredibly tense. Elder Zhou was the first to speak. "It has been 10 days since Shen Lai led the team to the ruins to find the treasure. Logically, shouldn't they have returned by now?" Elder Huang replied. "A small Quasi-God Realm ruin like that, ... is almost completely free of danger. Besides, Shen Lai is a second-ranked disciple on the gold ranking. What kind of trouble could he possibly run into?" Elder Huang interjected. "They should have been back 5 days ago. Today is the 10th day. I fear something has happened." Elder Yu finally spoke up. "Old Huang, take a trip to the ruins and see what trouble Shen Lai has gotten into." "Why is he taking so long?" "Being ordered around by his superior. Old Hong's displeasure was obvious. Shenlai is your personal disciple. Why don't you go yourself instead of sending me? Because among us here, your strength is the lowest. Naturally, you're the one to go. Elda, you replied matter-of-factly. Old Hong slammed his hand on the table in fury. What was that? Just because my cultivation is lower, I have no rights. I have to be the errand boy. A murderous glint flashed in Elder Yu's eyes. If you're not convinced, we can have a little match. Hearing this, Old Hong immediately deflated, breaking out in a cold sweat. You, ... Fine, I'll go. No need to throw your weight around, Old Hong muttered as he turned to leave, his face still twisted with resentment. Elder Zhou stroked his beard and turned to Elder Yu. Old Yu, among those who went to the ruins, there was a disciple whose strength is on par with Shenlai's. Perhaps you remember. Oh, and who might that be? Elder Yu asked, surprised. I don't recall. The personal disciple of that waste of a palace master. The fourth ranked on the gold ranking, Mo Yu. Elder Yu calmly stroked his beard. Shenlai was trained by me personally. He would never be at a disadvantage against the disciple of a worthless palace master. Old Zhou, you're overthinking things. Perhaps I am. That useless palace master can barely protect himself, let alone train a genius. I doubt this Mo Yu can compare to your Shenlai. Elder Zhou reassured himself. Elder Huang looked at the scorpion on her hand and said, the number of lower realm disciples who entered the ruins this time was not small. For Shenlai to wipe them all out. ... It would take some effort. A small delay is perfectly normal. Old Yu, don't you worry too much. Then we'll just wait for Old Hong to bring him back. Elder Yu said. Back in the hall, the three of them were cultivating in silence. Suddenly, Mo Yu's eyes snapped open in shock. The 11th level of the Demigod Realm. Model. To think she broke through a Demigod Realm bottleneck just like that? This primordial pill is truly powerful. But her hope soon turned to a sigh. Sadly, the greatest flaw of such elixirs is diminishing returns. Even if we keep taking them, breaking through another realm so soon is impossible. Yin Luo's eyes sparkled with joy. Congratulations, senior sister. Mo, that's incredible. You've shattered the bottleneck to the 11th demigod level. Congratulations. And your power has surged to the 9th level of the Demigod Realm, leaping 3 whole stages at once. Isn't that worth celebrating too? Yin Luo beamed with pride. The primordial pill works wonders for those at lower cultivation levels. But for me, now, at the 9th level, its effects will start to weaken. I wonder how far Qin Nan has come. Their gazes shifted to him, still deep in meditation. It seemed the pills were working well for him too, Yin Luo commented. Suddenly, a powerful aura exploded from Qin Nan, forcing them both back. Senior Sister Mo gasped. This energy! He must have made a massive breakthrough. Just then, Elder Hong arrived on the scene. Sensing the potent aura, he thought, this is the energy of a 10th level demigod. But that's not Shenlai's aura. Is he fighting someone else? I must see what he's been up to these past 5 days. Qin Nan's eyes snapped open, a brilliant light flashing within them. Incredible! I've reached the 10th level of the Demigod Realm, the stage of Meridian Expansion. Senior Sister Mo added, all 3 of us have consumed 10 primordial pills. The results have been astounding. You 2 advanced several stages, while I, due to my higher realm, only managed to break through a single bottleneck. Yin Luo sighed wistfully. If only we could keep using them. What a shame their power fades with continuous use. Otherwise, I would have pushed for the Quasi-God Realm before leaving. Qin Nan spoke up. If we can't advance further, staying here is pointless. It's time to leave these ruins. He lifted the chest, saying to the Yu, there are still 90 primordial pills left inside. Let's each take 30. The Yu nodded cheerfully. Sounds good. We'll figure it out after we leave. Suddenly, a thought struck Qin Nan as he held up a pill. Wait, I wonder if my Five Elements body can absorb this elixir directly. If I can absorb its essence without consuming it, I might be able to bypass the diminishing returns completely. As if on cue, the pill dissolved into pure spiritual energy, flowing directly into his body. A wave of euphoria washed over him. The pill's potency. It hasn't diminished at all. My Five Elements body can truly overcome the elixir's greatest weakness. At that moment, Qin Nan's heart pounded with excitement. He proposed, I feel like I can absorb even more. How about you? Wait for me. I'll finish cultivating, and then we can leave together. Seeing this, the Yu immediately tried to stop him. Qin Nan, don't be reckless. Consuming so many elixirs at once will weaken their effect. More importantly, your Danshan can't possibly handle that much spiritual power. If it's overloaded, your Danshan could be shattered. Yin Luo chimed in. She's right. Qin Nan, cultivation is a gradual process. You must space out these pills. But Qin Nan was resolute. He patted his chest with confidence. Don't worry, I know my own body. I know I can handle more. Just wait for me. Seeing his unwavering resolve, the Yu relented. All right, then. If you're so sure, we'll wait for you, Qin Nan then said. I need to find a secluded spot to cultivate. I can't be disturbed, he thought to himself. This ability to directly absorb elixirs. It's a secret I must protect. Yin Luo put her hands on her hips, feigning annoyance. You're so difficult. Just go already. He turned and waved. Call me if anything happens. As they waited, Yin Luo suggested, Senior Sister Mo, let's explore a bit. Who knows? We might find more treasures. The Yu smiled and agreed. Why not? Time passed, and Qin Nan found a perfectly isolated spot. Pouring out the remaining elixirs, he declared, Time to begin. Instantly, a torrent of pure spiritual energy flowed from the pills, consumed entirely by his body. When the last wisp of energy vanished, Qin Nan leaped to his feet, laughing aloud. Truly astonishing. By directly absorbing 30 primordial pills, I've broken through to the 12th level of the Demigod Realm. I'm now just a single step away from becoming a Quasi-God. After the grueling session, Qin Nan could feel the monumental changes within him. He was more than satisfied. Not only was his body stronger, but his spiritual sense had also been massively enhanced. To test the results, he picked up a stone. Now then, let's use this test stone to check the level of my spiritual sense. In his palm, the stone began to glow with a mystical light. Qin Nan declared confidently, with my current spiritual intensity, a third-grade spell talisman can unleash the power of a high-tier 4th-grade one. To prove it, he immediately channeled his extreme icebreak technique on the stone. A massive beam of azure energy erupted forth. After the test, a look of satisfaction crossed his face. Not bad power. I'm very pleased. But this small achievement wasn't enough to satisfy him. He immediately set a new goal. Next, I'll train in the Tribulation, Heaven Sword Art, and the Primordial Sword. I'll aim to raise my sword mastery to the 10th level. Elsewhere, the Yu and Yin Luo found themselves in a picturesque scene by a vibrant lake. The sight filled Yin Luo with wonder, and she ran about with pure joy. Gazing at the blooming lotuses before her, she couldn't help but exclaim, Who'd have thought such a beautiful lotus pond existed in these ruins? But suddenly, an armored figure shot through the sky towards them. The Yu was the first to spot him. She wondered, Who is that? It was Elder Huang, a sinister smile plastered on his face. Between his fingers, a talisman glowed with a menacing yellow light. A chilling premonition seized the Yu. She screamed at the top of her lungs, Yin Luo, look out! A deafening roar echoed through the air. The talisman's energy morphed into a colossal hand, striking down towards Yin Luo. While she was still admiring the view, completely unaware that death was descending upon her, the devastating palm strike slammed into the earth. The ground where she sat erupted, and the poor girl took the full force of the blast. Jia, you rushed over, but it was already too late. Yin Luo coughed up a mouthful of blood, struggling to prop herself up. Jia, you helped her stand, then turned with fury in her eyes. Elder Huang, why would you attack a disciple of your own divine palace? Hearing this, Elder Huang offered no explanation, his own anger flaring. He pointed a trembling finger, roaring, "You dare question me!" The memory of his slain disciples flashed before his eyes, and he declared with insane conviction, "I saw their bodies on my way here. A pile of corpses, and you are the only ones left alive. You must be the killers." Seeing the old man pronounce judgment without a shred of proof, Davu shot back, "The upper realm disciples were killing us. We only fought back to survive. It wasn't intentional. I pray Elder Hong sees the truth." But Elder Hong was completely blinded by rage. He refused to hear another word of it. He proclaimed, "You murdered the innocent and still dare to make excuses. Die for me." With that final word, Elder Hong summoned the power of the sky-flipping palm talisman, unleashing it upon the two women. Davu held Yin Luo with one arm, using her other to summon her sword and execute the weak water 3000 technique to block. In the next instant, a clash of fire and ice. No, a literal explosion of ice and fire erupted. The torrent of water from Davu's sword began to weaken. Something was wrong. The protective barrier of water around them was evaporating. Davu cried out in alarm, "This is bad. We can't escape in time." Still, she desperately raised her sword, a final shield against Elder Hong's flaming palm to protect Yin Luo. But her strength was limited. Her efforts were like a single drop of water against an inferno. The gigantic hand of fire crushed them both, and a massive explosion tore the very earth apart. A moment later, silence returned. Yin Luo lay unconscious on the ground, while Davu struggled to her feet, leaning heavily on her sword. She glared at Elder Hong with pure hatred, warning him, "I am a personal disciple of the Divine Palace Master. You cannot kill me." Elder Hong just laughed with contempt. "Ridiculous. That useless palace master is about to be killed by us, let alone a worthless disciple like you." As he spoke, he raised his burning hand once more, this time summoning the power of the Frost Talisman. A wave of chilling frost shot from his palm. His face was a mask of cold fury as he declared, "Perish." Blood trickled from Davu's lips. Powerless, she closed her eyes, her heart filled with bitter regret. To think that even after breaking through to the 11th level of the Demigod Realm, I still can't withstand a single attack from the Quasi-God Realm. But in that hair's breadth moment before death, a familiar figure appeared, saving both women from their fate. With a single slash of his blade, Qin Nan shattered Elder Hong's torrent of ice. He then planted himself before them, driving the tip of his blade into the ground, and sneered, "A friend of mine, Qin Nan. Is someone an old mutt like you is qualified to touch?" Davu felt like she'd been thrown a lifeline, shouting with joy, "Qin Nan." Hearing his name, Qin Nan grinned, pointing a thumb at himself with absolute confidence. "Don't worry, leave the rest to me. My cultivation has improved quite a bit, being so utterly disrespected." Elder Hong's face turned purple with rage. He jabbed a finger, bellowing, "You wretched disciple from the lower realm, it is not your place to insult me." As he spoke, he once again unleashed the sky-flipping palm talisman. Another colossal hand of fire materialized, roaring straight towards Qin Nan, faced with Elder Hong's overwhelming aura. Qin Nan simply stood with a hand on his hip, a third-grade talisman spell. "So you're the Elder Hong that Shen Lai spoke of." He then swept his foot, drawing a circle on the ground, taking his stance and declaring confidently, "Let's see if your strength is worthy of an elder's title." Seeing Qin Nan's arrogance from above, Elder Hong wondered, is that technique in the kid's hand also a third-grade talisman? In that instant, Qin Nan unleashed Extreme Ice Break. 3 razor-sharp lances of ice shot straight for Elder Hong. The lances pierced through the flaming palm, and the two elements rapidly neutralized each other. A moment later, the sky-flipping palm vanished. But Qin Nan's Extreme Ice Break continued its path toward Elder Hong. The old man pointed with a grimace, shouting, Not bad, kid. You actually managed to break my attack. The sky-flipping palm and extreme ice break continued to clash in midair, neither side giving an inch. After a moment, the fire died and the ice melted. Qin Nan spoke first. So this is the famous Elder Huang, master of talisman arts. He then put on a look of utter disdain. You're nothing special. Provoked by Qin Nan's taunt, Elder Huang was left speechless, only able to choke out a single word. Qin Nan began his merciless verbal assault. I heard that Elder Huang can only cast a third-grade talisman spell 5 times in a short period. You must be close to your limit now. If you kneel and beg for mercy, I might grant you a slightly better death. Hearing this, Elder Huang burst out laughing. Then his face twisted into a sneer. You insignificant, lower realm disciple. Do you really think a Grand Elder of the Divine Palace only knows third-grade talisman spells? Qin Nan immediately challenged him. If you have a better move, why don't you use it? At this point, Elder Huang's rage hit its peak. He roared, Then I'll let you witness the might of a 4th-grade talisman spell. Immediately, he summoned the god-slaying pillar. A colossal iron pillar, crackling with terrifying power, materialized above his head. Instantly, Elder Huang directed the god-slaying pillar towards Qin Nan and commanded, Go! Faced with this sudden, overwhelming power, Qin Nan felt a flicker of fear, his body trembling. He thought to himself, a 4th-grade talisman spell holds this much power. While Qin Nan was tensing up, Zhou frantically advised him from behind. Qin Nan, a 4th-grade spell is 10 times more powerful than a 3rd-grade one. We can't possibly block it. Run. Don't worry about us. But after a moment, Qin Nan's composure returned. He spoke with renewed confidence. Even if it's a 4th-grade spell, its power is directly tied to the user's spiritual strength, isn't it? For Elder Huang to use this spell, it must be pushing the absolute limit of his spiritual power. Seeing that Qin Nan still wouldn't listen, Zhou shouted in frustration, That's true, but there's no way your spiritual power is higher than Elder Huang's. The might of the god-slaying pillar ravaged the sky, but Qin Nan stood below, completely unfazed. He decided to make an enormous gamble. I'm willing to bet that my spiritual strength right now is definitely higher than this Elder Huang's. With that declaration, Qin Nan channeled his power and let out a mighty roar. Countless streams of spiritual energy erupted from his body, leaving both Zhou and Elder Huang frozen. For a full 5 seconds, witnessing this scene, Jaya, you stammered. This spiritual energy ... Qin Nan, you've broken through to the 12th level of the Demigod Realm. Elder Huang was also stunned, unable to believe his eyes. A lowly disciple from the lower realm has actually reached the 12th level of the Demigod Realm. How is this possible? Then, Qin Nan raised a single spirit stone. He unleashed the Phoenix Flame Talisman. A blazing crimson phoenix materialized. The old man shrieked in terror. How can this be? It's only a 3rd-grade spell. How does it possess such power? He simply couldn't accept the truth. His mind raced. I devoted myself to cultivation ... Finally, mastering a 4th-grade talisman spell, only to be defeated by a simple 3rd-grade technique. As if reading Elder Huang's thoughts, Qin Nan seized the opportunity to lecture him, judging a spell's strength merely by its grade. You truly are naive. Qin Nan crossed his arms, explaining with an air of superiority. The true power of a talisman spell is directly linked to the spiritual energy of its caster. You have it all backwards, chasing only the grade of your spells, and you dare call yourself an elder of the Divine Palace. In my opinion, you're not even worthy of sweeping the floors. Stung by the mockery, Elder Huang was consumed by rage. He pointed a trembling finger at Qin Nan, sputtering, You ... I'll kill you! Qin Nan just smirked, pointing back. What's wrong? Still not convinced. My spiritual energy is at level 90, and you, an elder of the Divine Palace, what's your level? The word struck Elder Huang like lightning. His face drained of color as he stammered, 90 ... 96. Then he roared like a madman. That's absolutely impossible. You, a mere disciple from the lower realm. Even if you reached the 12th level half-god realm, you could never possess a spiritual energy level of 90. The old man absolutely refused to believe it. I am a renowned elder of the divine palace, and my spiritual energy is merely, yet he, a disciple from the lower realm. ... How could he possibly have not? Qin Nan hit him with a cold, hard truth. The proof is right before your eyes, and yet you choose to remain blind. The fact that I defeated your 4th grade talisman spell is all the proof you need. At this, Elder Huang screamed in denial. Impossible! You're just a lowly mortal from the lower realm. You can't possibly have such immense spiritual energy. Qin Nan was done arguing. He raised his blade and declared, words are useless. Prepare to die. He quickly assessed the situation. Without his talisman spells to back him up, this elder's own power is only at the 12th level half-god realm. Instantly, Qin Nan unleashed 2 slashes into the air, forming a deadly cross of energy that shot forward before the elder could react. The attack closed in, moving too fast for him to evade. Elder Huang coughed up a spray of dark blood, yet his last word was still one of defiant disbelief. Impossible. Then, Elder Huang collapsed to the ground, his body spreaded gold as his life faded away. Watching from behind, the Yu was utterly speechless. She stared at Qin Nan, her mind reeling. Elder Huang was one of the 4 great elders, and Qin Nan killed him. ... Just like that. Just how many secrets is he hiding? After a moment of searching, Qin Nan pulled 3 stone talismans from Elder Huang's body. He remarked, so these are the 4th grade Azure Stone talismans. With these 3, I can easily eliminate any 12th level half-god realm warrior. I could even hold my own against a 1st level Quasi-God Realm expert. He then took out a map. Unfurling it, his eyes widened in surprise. Is this ... a treasure map? He studied it closely, muttering, based on this map, the location is somewhere around the Dark Radiance Divine Palace. Could this be where Elder Huang hid his personal treasures? After a moment, he decided to put it away. I'll keep this for now, and explore it when the opportunity arises. He then turned, lifting Yin Luo into his arms, and said to the Yu, you're both injured. It's not safe to linger here. Let's return to the palace. The Yu, also heavily wounded, managed a nod. All right, we'll go straight to the palace, master. That's the only way to avoid trouble from the other 3 elders. Meanwhile, back with the remaining elders, the Supreme Elder suddenly sensed something was amiss. He exclaimed, Old Huang's life force! It has vanished! The female elder questioned in disbelief. He's dead. The other male elder denied it instantly. That was just a minor Quasi-God Realm ruin. There's absolutely no way Old Huang could have perished there. As if realizing the grim truth, the female elder sighed sorrowfully. If even Old Huang is dead, then it seems my disciple Shen Lai, double quotes, ... and the other disciples who went in couldn't have survived either. The Supreme Elder slammed his hand on the table, rising to his feet. We must have severely miscalculated the danger level of this ruin. From this day forward, reclassify it as a 5th level Quasi-God Realm ruin. No one without the strength of a 5th level Quasi-God Realm expert ... is permitted to enter. The other 2 elders responded in unison. Understood. The Supreme Elder added another command. Furthermore, we will officially rule this incident an accident. Compile a list of all the disciples who entered, consoled their families, and ensure this matter is kept quiet. Again, they replied together. We will see to it immediately. The Supreme Elder's mind was a storm of confusion. What could have possibly happened inside that ruin? Meanwhile, Qin Nan and the others arrived back at the palace gates. Seeing him carrying an unconscious Yin, the palace master rushed over, alarmed. What happened here? Why are they so badly injured? Qin Nan's face was grim. Palace master, their treatment is the priority right now. We will explain everything after they are stable. Seeing the urgency, the palace master stopped asking questions and gestured them forward. He said, "Quickly, take them to the medical hall's rear courtyard. I have healing elixirs they can use." A short while later, both Yin Luo and the Yu had been treated. The Yu turned to ask Yin Luo, "How do you feel?" Yin Luo, now conscious, replied cheerfully, "I feel much better already. Thank you both for rescuing me. If it weren't for you to, double quotes, ... I would have been killed by that wretched elder Huang." She then turned her gratitude to Qin Nan. "We especially have to thank Qin Nan. If he hadn't appeared when he did, ... even I might not have made it out alive." Hearing this, Qin Nan replied with a smile, "It's only right to help a fellow disciple. However, you still had a burning question. But Qin Nan, your power, ... How did you suddenly become so much stronger? You've completely surpassed me now." Qin Nan answered honestly, "Remember those 30 Chaos Heaven pills we each received? I consumed all of them in one go." Yin Luo gasped in shock. "What? You ate them all? Weren't you afraid you'd explode?" The Yu immediately stood up, her expression serious. "The sheer spiritual energy from 30 Chaos Heaven pills is far more than the meridians of someone at your realm should be able to withstand. How on earth did you do it?" But Qin Nan just smiled. "Didn't I tell you guys before? My physical constitution is unique. That's likely the reason why." Hearing this, the Yu thought for a moment and found his explanation plausible. "I've heard rumors that there are indeed people with special constitutions in the God Realm. I just never thought I'd get to see one with my own eyes. If you truly possess such a unique body, then being able to absorb a vast amount of elixir energy isn't so strange after all." The Yu-Si words left Yin Luo completely stunned. She looked on with envy. So that kind of constitution really exists. If only I had a body like that. I wouldn't have to work so hard at cultivating anymore. Qin Nan could only offer a wry smile. With a gentle flick to her forehead, he advised, "Focus on healing. Get plenty of rest. Who knows, you might just awaken that special constitution by tomorrow." Yin Luo turned away with a pout. "Are you trying to coax a child?" When it was time, Qin Nan said his farewells. "All right, we won't disturb your rest any longer. Please focus on your recovery." With that, Qin Nan and the Yu departed together. The two made their way to the palace master, who was standing before a lake. Seeing them approach, he turned and asked, "How is Yin Luo's condition?" "The situation is looking good," Qin Nan replied cheerfully. "Thanks to the palace master's healing medicine, Yin Luo's injuries have mostly recovered." Hearing this, the palace master was relieved. "Excellent. I've just received news that Elder Huang and his disciples met an unexpected end. They perished within the ruins. Now, perhaps you too can tell me. How did you manage to escape?" The Yu immediately began to recount the events. A short while later, the three of them were seated as the Yu finished her harrowing tale. The palace master now understood everything. "So that's how it is," he said grimly. "The four great elders have long despised those from the lower realm. I never thought they'd make their move inside the ruins." At this point, the Yu glanced at Qin Nan with unrestrained admiration. "If Qin Nan hadn't intervened to save us, both Yin Luo and I would have been killed by Elder Huang." The palace master also looked at Qin Nan with a serious expression. "Qin Nan, you must treasure this special constitution of yours. Use it to cultivate diligently, and you will surely bring honor to the people of the lower realm. We will show those of the God Realm that we from the lower realm have geniuses of our own." Qin Nan's voice was firm. "I will remember your words." The palace master then stroked his chin. Lost in thought, "The other three elders will certainly believe that you killed Elder Huang and all the other disciples from the God Realm. From now on, they will surely gather all their power to deal with you." The Yu seethed with anger. "They were the ones who plotted to kill us first. How dare they play the victim now?" The palace master then began to lay out the situation. "The ancient poison in my body is flaring up, and my strength has been greatly reduced. I'm only at the 3rd level of the Quasi-God Realm. It will be difficult to withstand a combined attack from the 3 of them. I am acquainted with the Master of the Dark Shadow, Mystic Gate. If you go there, your lives may be protected. Qin Nan was not pleased with this arrangement. He slammed his hand on the table, his anger flaring. The Palace Master wants us to flee. The Palace Master sighed, explaining, "This is the only way to ensure your survival. As the master of this palace, and as someone from the lower realm, it is my duty to protect you." But Qin Nan, with his unyielding nature, refused to accept it. "I'm afraid I must disappoint the Palace Master. I, Qin Nan, will absolutely never run away. If those 3 elders want to take my life, then let them come. I, Qin Nan, will not retreat a single step." The Yu agreed completely, challenging the Palace Master. The elders already bully the disciples from the lower realm so relentlessly. If we run, they will only become bolder and oppress the other disciples even more ferociously. Does the Palace Master truly wish to see that happen? After hearing these words, the Palace Master clapped his hands in praise. "Very good. You are truly worthy of being disciples from our lower realm. To see such spirit, I am truly overjoyed." He then picked up his teacup and spoke calmly. "Since you do not wish to leave the divine palace, you must train harder to protect yourselves. I hope you have made the right choice." The scene then shifts to a cliff, where a lone figure stands at the very edge of the precipice. It was Elder Wu. He stood with his hands clasped behind his back, gazing down into the abyss. Behind him, the other 2 elders were approaching. Elder Nan reported, "Elder Wu, we've investigated the matter. Out of everyone who entered the ruins, only Qin Nan, the Yu, and Yin Luo came out alive." The female elder then spoke up. "In my opinion, they must be the ones who killed Elder Huang and the other disciples." After hearing this, Elder Wu stroked his beard, skeptical. With the strength of those 3, killing Elder Huang should have been impossible. How did they do it? Elder Nan nudged the female elder. Elder Huang was always arrogant and looked down on everyone. To think he would fall to those 3. It must be because he fatally underestimated his enemy. Elder Wu then continued his questioning. "So, where are the 3 of them now?" Elder Nan replied with fury in his voice. "They are hiding in that cripple's mansion. That Palace Master, Ren Tianqiu, is protecting them." Elder Wu spun around in shock. "What? They are in Ren Tianqiu's mansion," the other elder confirmed. "That's right. According to my personal disciple scouting, they are indeed in the Palace Master's residence." Hearing this, Elder Wu shouted with glee, "The heavens themselves are helping me. That Ren Tianqiu dares to harbor the murderer of a palace elder. What right does he have to sit on the Palace Master's throne anymore?" The female elder seemed to understand his intent, asking, "Elder Wu's meaning is to use this as a pretext to force Ren Tianqiu to abdicate." He didn't deny it, continuing, "The entire divine palace will never accept a master who shelters a killer." Once they understood Elder Wu's plan, the other 2 smiled with satisfaction. "Excellent. Then allow us to congratulate Elder Wu in advance on your successful ascension." A wave of satisfaction washed over him, and he threw his head back and laughed. Imagining his glorious future, he declared with absolute confidence, "Ren Tianqiu, you despicable filth from the lower realm. You were never qualified to be the master of the Dark Abyss Divine Palace in the first place." Back at the Divine Palace, a disciple rushed in frantically, shouting, "Palace Master, this is bad." While Ren Tianqiu was meditating, the disciple knelt and reported, "The elders have led all the God Realm disciples to surround the entire palace." Although he had anticipated this, Ren Tianqiu still felt a trace of concern now that the moment had arrived. "So, it has finally come," he murmured. Ren Tianqiu, along with the Yu and Qin Nan, walked out to the gate. Facing the 3 elders and their hundreds of followers, Ren Tianqiu asked, with a heavy tone, "May I ask what business the 3 elders have at my residence?" Elder Wu immediately shot back an accusation. "Ren Tianqiu, you dared to harbor the murderer of Elder Huang and countless disciples of the God Realm. You are unfit to be the palace master. Ren Tianqiu sneered with contempt. So, after all this, your grand scheme to massacre the lower realm disciples in the ruins. The cost of so many lives was all just to force me to abdicate? The elder let out a sinister laugh. Slander, your strength is pathetic. Harboring a murderer. You lost the right to be palace master long ago. If you hand over your position now, I might still consider it. I will grant you a path to live. Exile in the demon domain. Ren Tianqiu had no desire to argue further. He made his proposal directly. There is no need for such trouble. In 1 month, at the Yuanyang selection trials for the Myriad Sects Grand Assembly, if the 3 of you can defeat my 3 disciples in the selection competition, I will voluntarily relinquish my position as palace master. Today, our divine palace was torn apart by a battle of life and death, leaving countless casualties. The bearded elder whispered, Old Vu, if you kill Ren Tianqiu and his 3 disciples today, we're bound to lose far too many of our own. Even if you seize the throne, the overall strength of our divine palace will be crippled, leaving us defenseless in the Yuanyang domain. The female elder agreed. The grand tournament of 10,000 sects is about to begin. If our ranking plummets again, the Dark Mang divine palace will be devoured by other sects. Your reign as palace master would be Old Vu pondered this. But what if, in 1 month, he finds an antidote for the ancient venom in his body? If his power returns to the 7th level of the Quasi-God Realm, will be no match for him. What then? The female elder gripped her staff. Old Vu, rest assured. That ancient venom was a gift I acquired from my friend at the Poison Dragon Palace, the #1 poison sect in all of Yuanyang. It is said this venom was modeled after the toxins of the demon race itself. An utterly lethal concoction. Once infected, one's power plummets, and their body slowly rots from within. There is no cure. The old man stroked his beard, a smirk spreading across his face. Then my mind is at ease. Besides, his 3 disciples haven't even reached the Quasi-God Realm. They stand no chance against 3 battle-hardened elders. After a moment of conspiring, Old Vu raised his hands confidently. Very well. I agree to your terms. Let all disciples of the Divine Palace bear witness to this sacred challenge. If we 3 elders defeat your 3 disciples, you will relinquish your title as Palace Master and accept exile into the Demon Realm. Ren Tianqiu's voice boomed in response. And if your side loses, you will renounce your positions as elders and be banished from the dark Mang Divine Palace for all eternity. Do we have an accord? Old Vu agreed instantly. Done. A single word is worth 9 sacred cauldrons. The matter is settled. Ren Tianqiu let out a hearty laugh. Thoroughly satisfied, he thought to himself, I've bought myself 1 month. Within this time, I must find an antidote for this venom. Once my strength returns to the 7th level of the Quasi-God Realm, those 3 insects will be no match for me. Then this agreement will become meaningless, and this crisis will be averted. With the term set, the 3 elders departed with their followers. The Yu turned to her master. Palace Master, why did you agree to such a pact? Even if we cultivate day and night without rest, it's impossible to break through to the Quasi-God Realm in a single month. Qin Nan explained. The Master's 1-month gamble isn't about the 3 of us. It's about him. He's betting everything on finding a cure for that ancient venom within this time frame. The Yu was filled with doubt. The Master has suffered from this poison for years without a cure. How could he possibly find one in such a short time? Qin Nan also grew worried. That's why it's a gamble. And in any gamble, there is a chance of victory and defeat. I believe the Master is prepared for the worst. Hearing this, though you asked, then what should we do? Qin Nan's optimism returned. We cultivate with everything we have, of course. If we can actually defeat those 3 elders, then this is no longer a gamble. It becomes a certain victory. The next day, at the Palace Master's training grounds, Qin Nan sat in meditation. Streams of spiritual energy radiated from his body. As a fiery aura enveloped him completely, the Yu approached. holding a small case. There are 20 chaotic sky pills left in here. At my level, these pills offer diminishing returns, but your constitution is special. You can still absorb their full power. So please, take them. Yin Lo cheerfully ran over, holding out her own case. I also have over 20 left. You should have them. Their selfless act surprised and touched Qin Nan, but he still refused. You two should keep these chaotic sky pills. We agreed to split them evenly, and I will not go back on my word. Besides, even if the effects are minor for you now, the cumulative power of 20 pills is still immense. It could even be what you need to achieve a breakthrough. The Yu grew anxious. The two of us have these pills to aid our cultivation, but you have nothing to reach the Quasi-God Realm in 1 month. How will you defeat those elders? To reassure them, Qin Nan reached into his robes. Don't worry, I have a plan. He pulled out an old map, he explained. Back in the ancient ruins, I took this treasure map from Elder Hong's body. Now, we finally have the time to investigate it. Yin Luo looked unconvinced. This doesn't seem like any ordinary treasure map. A martial artist would simply hide their valuables in a storage ring. Why go through the trouble of burying it? But the Yu saw it differently. Even if it's not a treasure map, she said, it's still a lead worth exploring. Who knows? We might find something truly valuable. Qin Nan, however, was resolute. He slapped his fist into his palm. Regardless, we have to check it out for ourselves. The scene shifts. Holding the map, Qin Nan looked utterly baffled. Strange, ... The location marked on the map is right here. So why is it just a cliff edge? The three of them stood before a deep, mist-filled abyss. The Yu was also puzzled. This clifftop is vast and open. There's nowhere a cave entrance could possibly be hidden. Hearing her words, something suddenly clicked for Qin Nan. Could it be ... With that thought, he leaped into the chasm, stunning the Yu. Yin Luo scoffed. What an impulsive fool. But as she turned, she gasped in shock, seeing the Yu follow him into the abyss. Let's go too, she said. After jumping, Qin Nan halted his descent along the cliff face, where strange vines clung to the rock, and hidden within them was a powerful ceiling formation. He observed it intently. Soon after, the Yu and Yin Luo joined him, hovering in midair. The Yu spoke first. The golden glow emanating from these vines is unnatural. There must be something behind them. Perhaps the entrance to a cavern. Yin Luo eagerly volunteered. I'll go first. With a shout, she shot forward. But before she could even touch the vines, an invisible barrier hurled her backwards. Luckily, Qin Nan moved like lightning to catch her. He finally understood. So there's a powerful ceiling formation here. No wonder you were repelled. It's a good thing I caught you. Embarrassed, Yin Luo jumped out of his arms and scoffed. Who needed you to catch me? Meanwhile, after observing the formation, the Yu and noticed some crucial details. With this type of ceiling formation, you just had to find the hidden array core and destroy it to break the seal. Qin Nan deduced that Elder Hong, a master of spiritual power, must have used that very power to set up the array. With that decided, Qin Nan resolved to use his own spiritual sense to probe it. He had to find that array core. Focusing his mind, Qin Nan began his search, and a moment later, he exclaimed, "Found it!" From a dark corner of vines, a single white flower bloomed. Qin Nan hurried over. After finding the core, he was surprised. For such a complex array, its heart was incredibly simple, hidden inside a small flower. The Yu pointed at Qin Nan, impressed. It's a good thing your spiritual sense is so powerful. Anyone else would have never been able to find the array's core. A moment later, Qin Nan reached out and plucked the flower. As he held it in his hand, a sudden rumbling sound startled him. The entrance to a cave had appeared. The group stood before the cave entrance. Qin Nan took the lead, saying, "Let's go in. Be careful." A mountain cave protected by such a powerful formation, ... likely holds great danger inside. The cave opened up to reveal an altar. Yin Luo remarked, "Such a massive cave. but all they built was a single, towering altar. What a waste of resources. But Qin Nan speculated, an altar this high, with that floating talisman stone. It's far more special than it looks. The Yu, at the back, said, let's go take a closer look. Qin Nan reminded everyone to be cautious, as danger could be lurking ahead. Before them hovered a purple talisman stone. Yin Luo wondered, what is that thing? The Yu placed a hand on her chin. I can't believe it. A grade 5 purple talisman stone. This treasure is incredibly rare. Almost impossible to find, even in the entire Darklight Divine Palace. However, the spiritual energy it's emitting feels very strange. Qin Nan stepped closer to feel it. I sense it too. Something is off. Let me examine it. The Yu quickly stopped him. Wait. The strange shape of this altar and the bizarre energy from the talisman. It resembles a certain refinement technique, one recorded in an ancient text I read long ago. Hearing this, Qin Nan asked, a refinement spell from an ancient text. What is it? The Yu explained. Normally, a talisman master can only use talisman spells of a rank that met their own. For example, a third-grade master can only use third-grade talisman spells. But some masters were not satisfied with this limitation. They wanted to use talismans ... that surpassed their own rank. So they began researching a way to break this rule, and finally, one day, ... these masters discovered a way to use talisman spells beyond their grade. That technique is the refining spell. Qin Nan was in awe. A way to use talisman spells beyond one's grade. Those people were true geniuses. Yin Luo added from the side. Never underestimate ... Those who chase power. They can create miracles at any moment. Qin Nan pointed towards the stone and asked, how does this refining spell work? Exactly. And what does it have to do with this altar? The Yu replied, the refining spell requires a specially constructed altar, one dedicated solely to the refinement of spells. Then, the talisman master must spend an immense amount of time, spirit, energy, and immense spiritual power to carve inscriptions onto the talisman stone using the spell. This creates what is known as a refined talisman stone. The time, spirit, energy, and focus required to carve one of these is 10 times that of a normal talisman. That's why ordinary talisman masters would never choose to perform the refining spell. As the Yu continued her lesson, she added, however, a refined talisman stone, ... is far more powerful than a regular one of the same grade. So, some masters, even those not chasing power, still choose to perform this spell. After hearing this, Qin Nan rubbed his chin and thought, why would Elder Huang go to such lengths just to carve a single refined talisman stone? He began to theorize. Could it be he was facing some kind of grave danger? You don't get it, Yin Luo scoffed knowingly. In the divine realm, the law of the jungle prevails. The strong devour the weak. Although Elder Huang was revered as an elder, his actual strength was the lowest among the 4 great elders. You added, he must have endured constant discrimination from the other 3 elders. That's why he had to go to such lengths, carving this refined stone to protect himself. I've heard much from the palace master. Although the 4 great elders appear united on the surface, they are constantly in conflict. It makes perfect sense that Elder Huang would secretly perform the spell. ... To upgrade his power. Yin Luo let out a sigh of regret. What a pity. He never finished the refining spell. If this grade 5 purple talisman were complete, it would have been the perfect weapon for you, Qin Nan. He looked at the stone and let out a single phrase. Truly, a shame. It seems this treasure hunt was a failure. We've gained nothing. Then he turned to the Yu. Is there any way to continue the inscription process? The Yu pondered for a moment, then replied, theoretically, it's possible. But you don't know what spell Elder... Huang was using to inscribe the talisman. If you carve it incorrectly, the talisman could detonate. The power of a grade 5 talisman exploding is enough to vaporize every single one of us. A chill ran down Qin Nan's spine. Is there really no other way? If I had this refined purple talisman, then I would have a fighting chance to defeat the other 3 elders in the competition next month. The Yu hesitated. Then she revealed a high-risk method. There is one other way, but it is incredibly dangerous. You could use your own spiritual sense to feel the flow of the talisman's inscriptions, and then continue carving it based on your intuition. This method requires an extremely high level of spiritual power, and, moreover, it demands an extraordinary talent for talisman inscription. Hearing this, Qin Nan clenched his fists, determination burning in his eyes. I'll try it. Seeing this, the Yu quickly warned him, if you fail, your spirit and will shall suffer a backlash from this stone, forever trapped within the talisman's spiritual domain. Are you absolutely sure you want to try? But Qin Nan didn't waver. He declared with supreme confidence. Yes, I believe in myself. The path of cultivation is to go against the heavens themselves. What is a small challenge like this? Yin Luo found it hard to understand. There are many other ways to improve yourself. Qin Nan, why must you choose the most dangerous one? Qin Nan replied with firm resolve. Opportunity is fleeting. To be able to defeat the other 3 elders 1 month from now, I have to take this risk. Yin Luo could only pray silently in her heart. Qin Nan, you better not let anything happen to you. Qin Nan clasped his hands and bowed to the stone. Grade 5 purple talisman, please grant me your guidance. As the words left his lips, he touched the talisman stone, and a blinding light swallowed him whole. When he came to, Tan Nam found himself within the stone's inner space. The scenery shifted instantly. A mountain of soldier corpses towered over him, sending a chill down his spine. He never imagined the spiritual world etched by this talisman would be so horrifying. Suddenly, an armored skeleton materialized from thin air. Tan Nam gripped his sword, his mind racing with questions. Was this the physical manifestation of the talisman's magic? A mere skeleton. Without warning, the skeleton brandished its axe and charged, ready for battle. But Tan Nam was no pushover. He met the attack head-on. Let's see just how powerful this talisman's magic truly is. He unleashed a devastating strike against the skeleton. But to Tan Nam's shock, his sword slash simply vanished. Abruptly, the skeleton split in 2. He thought to himself, impressive ... This thing can actually multiply. So this is the power of a 5th grade purple talisman, he roared. Then 'tis the 10th form of my heavenly calamity sword out. Tan Nam unleashed his technique, striking both skeletons at once. But to his dismay, they just split again, creating 4 of them. Tan Nam gritted his teeth. Great! 2 more. His patience was wearing thin. He unleashed his heavenly calamity sword art again. I'll grind you to dust and see how you multiply then. But strangely, the skeletal army only continued to grow. Tan Nam realized this was getting out of hand. Why do they keep multiplying? He knew brute force wasn't the answer. He closed his eyes, circulating his energy to calm his mind. These skeletons are endless. If I don't grasp the essence of this 5th grade talisman soon, I'll be trapped in this space for eternity. There has to be a weakness. I need to calm down and observe carefully. As he opened his eyes, he immediately spotted something amidst the horde. One of them was glowing. A grin spread across Tan Nam's face. Found you. My sword is thirsty. He moved like a bolt of lightning. Weaving past the clones, he thrust his sword directly into the glowing, original skeleton. Instantly, the copies began to fade away. Tan Nam kicked the skeleton off his blade. He said with confidence, that should do it right. The skeleton collapsed, turning into a stream of blue light. Outside, Davu and Ingan Lak noticed a change in Tan Nam. His consciousness was returning. He slowly opened his eyes. Davu asked, with relief, Tan Nam, you're awake. Tan Nam nodded. I'm awake. I entered the talisman's spiritual space, and I fully comprehended the terrifying power sealed within its magic. Engan Lak quickly asked. So, can you match Elder Hong's speed and continue carving it? Tan Nam raised the carving pen, his voice filled with confidence. Of course, I can. Just give me some time, and I will definitely complete this 5th grade purple talisman. Davu nodded. Focus on your carving, Engen Lak, and I will guard you here in the cave. Tan Nam clasped his hands in thanks. Then I'll begin. With that, Tan Nam immediately began to carve. Each stroke flowed like a river onto the stone. Time flew by. 1 month later, Tan Nam whispered as he carved the final stroke. As the final stroke was completed, a brilliant purple light erupted from the stone. Overjoyed, Tan Nam held it up, cheering internally. I succeeded. The Blood Demon Sea. Magic Refining Talisman. A purple flame enveloped Tan Nam. He couldn't help but admire himself. I'm just too incredible. By completing a single 5th grade talisman, my strength actually broke through to the 1st level of the Quasi-God Realm. My spiritual power broke through along with it. I can even use 4th grade talisman magic. Now, he murmured, looking at the stone. Once you reach the Quasi-God Realm, it becomes much easier to control your internal spiritual energy. You can fly freely with minimal energy consumption. At the 4th level of the Quasi-God Realm, you can even teleport treasures like weapons and armor. They become spiritual treasures. And at the 8th level of the Quasi-God Realm, you can condense all the spiritual energy in your body to form a palace of life. At the 12th level, you can even solidify your soul within that palace. Swelling with pride, he announced loudly, "Come and praise me. I truly am a genius." But he was met with only silence. No one was there. Tan Nam looked around, bewildered. That's strange. Where are Davu and Engen Lak? They said they'd protect me. Just then, Davu and Engen Lak walked in. She said, "We saw the light from the cave, so we knew you had succeeded." Engen Lak approached, unable to hide her admiration. "I didn't expect you to be this skilled, Tan Nam." He puffed out his chest. "With my innate spiritual talent, of course I would succeed." Engen Lak immediately threw cold water on his parade, scoffing. "Oh, please, don't I know you? Give you a little sunlight, and you think you're the sun. Give you a drop of water, and you think you're an ocean. A little praise, and you think you've conquered the world," she continued. "Do you have any idea how long it took you to carve that talisman? A whole month. The selection tournament for the seeded contestants begins tomorrow. The grand tournament of 1,000 sects." Hearing this, Tan Nam's jaw dropped. He grabbed Engen Lak's shoulders. "What? A month? How could it have been that long?" It felt like only an hour had passed. Davu explained, "You were completely engrossed in carving the talisman. Naturally, time would feel like it's moving slowly for you, but a full month has indeed passed." Engen Lak shoved his hands away and boasted, "During that month, I absorbed 20 Chaos Heaven pills and broke through to the 11th level of the Demigod Realm. And Sister Davu broke through to the 12th level. Meanwhile, someone else's cultivation hasn't improved at all. Aren't you ashamed?" A smug grin appeared on Tan Nam's face. "I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you. I've already broken through to the 1st level of the Quasi-God Realm." Engen Lak shrieked. "What? You broke through to the Quasi-God Realm, but it's only been a month." Furious, she lunged at Tan Nam. He casually held her back by her head and explained calmly, "It's all thanks to this 5th grade purple talisman. I was cultivating at the same time I was carving it. So, are you impressed?" Engen Lak gave him a friendly middle finger and stuck out her tongue. "You're so shameless. Why don't you compare yourself to the Grand Masters then?" The two started a war of words. "Look at you, getting flustered. You're the big idiot. You're the fool. What's there to be so arrogant about?" Davu could only sigh helplessly. 1 month later, the scene shifts to the Palace Master's Grand Hall. "Master, the 1-month deadline is up. The 3 of us have returned." The Palace Master sighed, his eyes filled with regret. "It's a pity. A month has passed. I still haven't found a way to undo this ancient poison. And worse, I've turned you all into pawns against the other three elders. This is all my fault. Qin Nan quickly intervened. Palace Master, don't blame yourself. Even if you hadn't commanded it, I would have challenged those elders on my own, to avenge the disciples of the lower realm and to restore our honor. Jiayu's voice was filled with rage. That lead elder not only scorns us, he even ordered Shen Lai to slaughter our people in the ruins. It's time they face judgment for their actions, Yin Luo declared fiercely. Even though I'm from the God Realm, they've ostracized me. Just for speaking out for the lower realm disciples, I became their target of ridicule. A divine palace like this, with elders like them, it's long overdue for a change. Palace Master Qianqi was deeply moved. My children, to see you all with this resolve, I am truly touched. My years of caring for the lower realm disciples have not been in vain. If you can truly mend the rift between the God Realm and lower realm disciples in this palace, then I can finally rest in peace. Hearing this, Qin Nan spoke up. Palace Master, why speak of such grim things? It's entirely possible that tomorrow we'll find the very cure for your ancient poison. Palace Master Qianqi gave a bitter smile. I know my own body all too well. Simply knowing you have this conviction is enough for me. He then turned to the main issue. Let us focus on tomorrow's selection battle for the 10,000 Sects Assembly. Allow me to explain. The 10,000 Sects Assembly is a sacred event. Over 10,000 factions and sects from the Yuanyang domain will participate. All of these powers will pool their resources to create the rewards for the assembly. The 10,000 Sects Assembly is, in reality, a war between all sects. However, by sending 3 representatives to compete, we avoid countless bloody conflicts. Once the competition ends, the factions that rank highest on the board will receive a massive amount of those cultivation resources. Qin Nan clenched his fists. I understand. Now, the 10,000 Sects Assembly is a stage 4 factions to settle their grievances, a place to exact revenge. It resolves conflicts between powers, and you can obtain resources. Everyone gets what they want. The Palace Master nodded. Precisely. But our Dark Abyss Divine Palace is weak. We've ranked at the very bottom for years, suffering endless mockery and scorn. What's more, if we rank last again this year, our Dark Abyss Divine Palace will be forcibly absorbed by the other sects, and will no longer exist. Yin Luo said angrily. Then those elders are less than human. The Divine Palace is on the brink of destruction, yet they insist on starting a civil war, forcing the God Realm and Lower Realm disciples to fight to the death. Aren't they just asking for our Dark Abyss Divine Palace to be devoured by others? Jiayu added, power drives men to madness. Elder Wu no longer cares about such things. The only thing in his heart is the Palace Master's seat. Palace Master Qianqi continued explaining the rules. So, to save the Divine Palace, and to save the Lower Realm disciples from the prejudice within, we must defeat the other 3 elders in tomorrow's selection match. You 3 will earn the right to participate in the 10,000 Sects Assembly. As long as we avoid ranking last, our Dark Abyss Divine Palace will be saved. Qin Nan replied with determination. Understood. Tomorrow, we will absolutely defeat those 3 elders. But in his mind, he was already calculating, with my strength at the first level of the Quasi-God Realm, combined with the 10th form of the Heaven's Calamity Sword Art, and the aid of 3 4th-grade Talisman Stones, dealing with a 2nd-level Quasi-God shouldn't be a problem. Facing a 3rd-level Quasi-God, I might be able to barely manage. But the risk is immense. As for the 4th-level Quasi-God, Elder Wu, he's already wielding a spirit treasure. Facing him will be incredibly difficult. Jaya, you cupped his fists. Palace Master, please, rest assured, we will pour all our strength into defeating the 3 elders. Palace Master Qianqi tossed a vial of pills to Qin Nan. Go and get some rest. Tomorrow, other factions and sects will be here to supervise and observe, so remain calm. Also, inside this vial are 30 Chaos Heaven pills. I wish you victory. Qin Nan accepted the vial, and the 3 of them bowed in unison to thank the Palace Master. As they left the Great Hall, Yin Luo immediately voiced her confusion. The palace master said other sects would be here to watch tomorrow's contest. Why is that? What are they coming for? Jiayu explained. Every faction and sect uses a selection battle to choose their 3 most powerful representatives. So naturally, all the sects send people to observe and supervise one another. What if one sect hired outside experts to fight for them? That would be unfair to the others. A clear form of cheating. No. Yin Luo nodded. I see. No, but I still don't fully understand. She turned around. Every faction can send 3 representatives to the 10,000 sects assembly. Doesn't that mean the other sects will be sending out elder-level monsters? Even if we 3 defeat our elders tomorrow at the assembly, we'll just be crushed into the dirt by elders from other sects. Jia, you reassured her. Don't worry. Those old monsters are all aiming for the top ranks. It's unlikely we'll even encounter them. Besides, our divine palace only needs to avoid last place. For the 3 of us, that alone will be a victory. Yin Luo breathed a sigh of relief. Well, that's good. If we had to face those old monsters from other factions, we'd be dead for sure. Qin Nan held up the vial the palace master had given them. These 30 chaos heaven pills. You 2 should split them. Jiayu was surprised. You don't need any? Yin Luo chimed in from behind. He's already at the first level of the Quasi-God Realm. What good would they do him? Even if he took all 30, he couldn't break through to the 2nd level overnight. She quickly took the vial. It's better to give them to me and Sister Jiayu. Who knows? After one night, I might just break through to the 12th level of the half-god realm. And Sister Jaya, you might even break through to the Quasi-God Realm. Qin Nan smiled. You make a very good point. This amount of chaos, heaven pills, is indeed not enough for me. He glanced towards the heavens, lost in thought. With my current cultivation, at the 1st level of the Quasi-God Realm, I'd need over 1,000 chaos heaven pills just to break through to the 2nd level. As he was lost in thought, a group of people suddenly appeared. Yin Luo's voice was ice cold. Who are you? A man with dark hair stepped forward. We are all disciples from the mortal realm. We heard you 3 intend to challenge the 3 elders in a martial contest. We know this is more than just a match. It's a clash between the mortal and divine realms within this divine palace. That's why we had to come and support you today. He presented a massive pouch. This contains 200 majestic spirit pills. A contribution from all of us, mortal realm disciples. We hope it can be of some help. Use them for your battle tomorrow. This way, we've also played our part. Yin Luo hesitated, a hand on her chin. But I was born in the divine realm. I can't possibly accept this. In response, the mortal realm disciples all bowed their heads. By choosing to represent our cause, you are a friend to every one of us. Please, accept this token of our sincerity. Hearing their heartfelt plea, Yin Luo accepted the pouch. Thank you. We will be sure to vent your frustrations for you. We'll teach those prejudiced elders a harsh lesson. The group erupted in joy at her words. Behind them, the youth spoke in a low voice. It seems every single disciple from the mortal realm, has placed all their hopes on the 3 of us. Qin Nan felt the immense weight of their expectations. The pressure is enormous. If we lose tomorrow, we won't even need the elders to act. I'm afraid this crowd of mortal realm disciples will tear us to shreds first. And just like that, the day of reckoning arrived. The martial arena was buzzing like a festival. The referee's voice boomed. Today is the seed selection battle for the Dark Ray Divine Palace. 3 direct disciples will face off against 3 esteemed elders. Furthermore, we extend a warm welcome to the 2 representatives from the Heavenly Sword. Alliance, double quotes, ... Here to observe and supervise the event. The 2 delegates, Jin Xiaoshan and Yin Huangchun. Satsa Huangchun spoke first. The Dark Ray Divine Palace, pitting elders against their own disciples. This is nothing short of bullying. But Xiaoshan beside him held a completely different view. For direct disciples to challenge elder-level figures only proves how exceptionally powerful these three must be. With their opposing views, the two delegates began their own verbal spar. It's clearly the elders bullying the weak. It's clearly the disciples being too powerful. Eventually, they both turned away, refusing to look at each other. The referee continued his announcement. Now, let our 6 combatants take the stage. He began the introductions. The 3 standing on the left side of the arena are Qin Nan, Mo, the Yu, and Yin Luo. All of them direct disciples of the Dark Ray Divine Palace. From below, the Divine Realm faction erupted in Go die, you lowly mortals! And Yin Luo, you traitor. You can die with them. The referee then introduced the other side, and the 3 standing on the right of the arena are the elders, Yu, Zhou, and Huang. The Mortal Realm faction was not to be outdone. They immediately roared back, You old fools! Get out of the Divine Palace! Without you, this palace would finally be a place of equality for all. A palace with no prejudice between the divine and mortal realms. And now, let us welcome our palace master, Ren Tianshu, who will conduct the drawing, ... To randomly decide the matchups for our 6 fighters, the palace master stepped onto the stage. Whispers immediately spread through the crowd. Why does the palace master look so withered? It's unsettling. I heard he was afflicted with a rare poison, ... One with no cure. He's on the verge of death. If he dies, won't this divine palace fall into the hands of the elders? It's a certainty. The moment the palace master dies, the Dark Ray Divine Palace will belong to them. It will be a palace for Divine Realm disciples only. The Divine Realm faction smirked with smug satisfaction. When that time comes, there'll be no place for these Mortal Realm insects. They can all get lost. Lowly mortals should crawl back to the mortal continent where they belong. Palace Master Tianchio's voice cut through the noise. I declare. Round 1. Yin Luo versus Elder Zhou. Round 2. Mo the Yu versus Elder Huang. And round 3. Qin Nan versus Elder Yu. Qin Nan turned to Yin Luo with concern. Yin Luo, you're facing Elder Zhou, a 2nd-level Quasi-God Realm expert. What are your chances of winning? Yin Luo's confidence was unwavering. Don't you underestimate me. I hail from a great house in the Divine Realm. I have plenty of trump cards. I can just about manage a 2nd-level Quasi-God like Elder Zhou. Qin Nan then turned to the Yu. The Yu. What about you against Elder Huang? The Yu replied. Elder Huang is also at the 2nd level of the Quasi-God Realm, with my current cultivation at the 12th level of the Half-God Realm. It's going to be a struggle. Qin Nan muttered. Though I'm a 1st-level Quasi-God, facing a 4th-level expert like Elder Yu will be an incredible challenge for me as well. And if Elder Yu has forged a spirit treasure, it'll be even tougher. Hearing this, Yin Luo began to worry. We're done for. All 3 of us are at a disadvantage. Are we just walking to our deaths today? Qin Nan's gaze hardened. Life or death? We'll only know for sure once we're on that stage. On the other side, Elder Yu began to taunt them. 3 brats who don't know their place. Old Zhou, you alone should be more than enough. Do you even need us to step in? Elder Zhou scoffed. Old Zhou, rest assured, I can effortlessly crush these 3 whelps by myself. You two, just sit back and enjoy the show. Elder Huang chuckled. Excellent, that saves these old bones the trouble. The referee announced. And now, the first round begins. Yin Luo versus Elder Zhou. Yin Luo and Elder Zhou stepped into the arena. The elder sneered. Young girl, you are from the Divine Realm. Why must you help them? With hands on her hips? Yin Luo answered coolly. It's simple. As long as I've lived, I, Yin Luo, have never been able to stand by and watch the strong bully the weak. Elder Zhou let out a derisive laugh. Such a naive and foolish child. In that case, today, ... I shall teach you a lesson on behalf of the entire Divine Realm. With that, Elder Zhou struck first, unleashing a thunderous kick. Yin Luo dodged and countered with a throwing dagger. She thought to herself, he's incredibly fast. Elder Zhou caught the blade with contempt. You call this children's plaything a weapon. He summoned his own weapon. Now, this is a real weapon. Elder Zhou lunged forward with a furious attack, shouting, "Die!" Yin Luo quickly threw down a sphere and yelled, "Conceal!" A cloud of purple smoke instantly enveloped the entire stage. Watching from below, Qin Nan observed Yin Luo's concealing bone smoke technique. It gave me quite a bit of trouble before. The elder activated a protective barrier. Child's play. You severely underestimate the power of the Quasi-God Realm. He unleashed a powerful palm strike. Yin Luo was hit and staggered as the elder rushed forward. Brats, if you love mortals so much, then I'll send you to be reborn in their realm. Die, Yin Luo. Elder Zhou unleashed a devastating strike, but to his shock, Yin Luo dodged it completely. Elder Zhou grew impatient. Brat, stop playing these disappearing tricks and face your death. The audience began to murmur amongst themselves. That's Yin Luo. She's from the Yin clan of the Divine Realm. The Yin clan's greatest strength is their phantom-like movement. I assumed Elder Wu would finish Yin Luo in a single strike. But looking at it now, does he really need to put in some effort to deal with her? From the heavens, Yin Luo descended, unleashing a storm of daggers. Elder Zhou blocked the technique. I thought you had a real trick up your sleeve, but it's just this little toy. Suddenly, he roared. What is this? He had discovered the threads. Yin Luo's threads had already enveloped Elder Zhou. She held one end, while the rest were tied to the daggers. Yin Luo leaped into the air. Divine binding. Annihilation. The threads tightened around Elder Zhou, sending another wave of shock through the crowd. Elder Zhou, a warrior at the second level of the Quasi-God Realm, was actually bound by a personal disciple. This Yin Luo has some real power. Qin Nan remarked, Elder Zhou is ranked third among the 4 elders, but right now, he doesn't seem powerful at all. From my point of view, he seems even weaker than the 4th-ranked Elder Huang. It seems he's concealing his true strength. The Yu agreed. Elder Wu is ranked first, with the power of a 4th-level Quasi-God Realm. This 3rd-ranked Elder Zhou's true strength should be at the 3rd level. Huang observed. This divine binding annihilation is said to be the Yin family's ultimate ancestral technique. Once bound, escape is nearly impossible, and it can even be used against those in higher realms. Shotian explained from the side. With this girl's current power at the 11th level of the half-god realm, any warrior below the 2nd level of the Quasi-God Realm has basically no hope of escape. They can only await their death, Huang asked. So you're saying this Elder Zhou, a 2nd-level Quasi, can only wait to die now? Shotian nodded. If there are no surprises, this Yin Luo has likely won. Huang scoffed. You're still too naive. This Yin Luo will definitely lose. Shotian retorted. Stop playing mysterious games in front of me. We'll find out if we just keep watching. Elder Zhou began to unleash his power. Yin Luo was confident. It's useless. This golden soft silk in my hand is incredibly tough. No matter how you struggle, you can't escape. If you surrender now, I might spare your life. Elder Zhou burst out laughing. You're advising me to surrender. A little girl is telling me to surrender. Yin Luo wasted no more words, charging with her dagger, not forgetting to taunt him. Arrogant fool. Elder Zhou's hand suddenly transformed into a wolf's paw, stopping Yin Luo's blade cold. He scowled. Who gave you the confidence to look down on me? Yin Luo used all her strength, but she still couldn't push the dagger forward. Her hand trembled as Elder Zhou's shadow began to take the shape of a wolf. Yin Luo was shocked. What? ... What is this? Before everyone's stunned eyes, Elder Zhou transformed into a giant wolf. These golden threads you're so proud of are nothing but twigs to me, not even worth a glance. Shotian witnessed this scene. This elder Zhou is actually from the Beast Domain's wolf clan. No wonder you were so sure Yin Luo would lose. Huang replied. The Beast Domain. A wolf clan member couldn't possibly come to the Yuan Yang domain. This elder Zhou merely has a trace of their bloodline, which gives him the ability to transform from man to wolf. Qin Nan was stunned. Elder Zhou's strength instantly soared to the 3rd level of the Quasi-God Realm. The Yu was worried, it seems. Everyone completely underestimated Elder Zhou. His human form may only be at the 2nd level of the Quasi-God Realm, but his wolf form is at the 3rd level. No wonder he can rank 2nd among the 4 great elders. Down on the stage, Elder Zhou had already caught Yin. He lifted her high, tightening his grip. This is the price for underestimating me. Die for me. Yin Luo was crushed until she coughed up blood. The Yu screamed, Yin Luo. Qin Nan grabbed his sword and rushed onto the stage. Let her go. Elder Wu quickly blocked him. Qin Nan roared, Release Yin Luo. We forfeit this match. Elder Wu pointed. A forfeit is fine, but you have to let her say it herself. By now, Yin Luo was being choked so hard her eyes were rolling back. But Elder Zhou had no intention of letting her go. She can't speak, which means she doesn't want to surrender. If she doesn't want to surrender, then I can only kill her. With that, Elder Zhou raised his hand. Suddenly, an attack flew from nowhere, slamming Elder Zhou into the arena wall. He was completely flattened. Qin Nan seized the opportunity to save Yin Luo. Seeing the situation was out of control, Palace Master Tianqiu had to speak up from above, intervening, Are we elders? As long as I'm not dead, perhaps you shouldn't act so arrogantly. Palace Master Tianqiu and Elder Wu locked eyes. Sparks flying. Elder Wu had to concede. If the Palace Master himself had spoken, then of course we must give him face. But in his heart, he sneered. Old man, you can show up to save her now, but there are 2 matches left. Let's see how you'll save the other 2. Elder Wu ordered. Elder Zhou, release her. Elder Zhou replied, How boring! Qin Nan worriedly asked, Yin Luo, are you all right? Yin Luo immediately burst into tears. I'm sorry. I let you 2 down. Qin Nan comforted her. Don't worry. Leave the next 2 matches to me and the Yu. Go down and rest. Elder Zhou spoke up again over here. The next match, Elder Huang. You don't need to come up. I alone am enough. Elder Wu pointed and asked the officiator, What do you think? The officiator replied, It is acceptable, according to the competition rules. If all 3 members of one side are defeated, then the other side can obtain the qualification to participate in the Grand Assembly of the 10,000 sects. The officiator continued, But we must still inform the 2 honored guests from the sky-shattering sword sect. Huang replied, We have no objections. Palace Master Tianqiu ordered, Officiator, make the announcement. The officiator replied, Yes. The next round, Elder Zhou versus the Yu. Qin Nan carried Yin Luo away as the Yu stepped onto the stage. Qin Nan encouraged her. Good luck. The Yu replied, Mun. On the stage now was the showdown between the Yu and Elder Zhou. Elder Zhou said, Old man Tianqiu can't come out to save you anymore. Are you sure you still want to face me? The Yu held her sword ready. Her reply was like steel. Cut the nonsense. I'll make you pay for daring to underestimate your enemy. She rushed forward with her sword to attack. Elder Zhou caught the Yu's sword with one hand. Contemptuously, a technique like this could never harm me, the Yu shouted. Sorrowful heaven, sword rain. Elder Zhou looked up at the sky. A formation full of swords appeared right above his head. The swords shot straight down, piercing Elder Zhou's body. He cried out in pain. Then he used his power to blast away the Yu's sword. The Yu blocked the attack with her own sword, as Elder Zhou lunged forward with his claws. You've angered me now. Davu launched herself into the air. Sun-piercing water, slash. She unleashed a devastating wave of energy. As she landed, Elder Zhou had already appeared behind her. She reacted instantly, spinning back and shifting her sword stance. A spray of crimson erupted from Elder Zhou. In the stands, Huang covered her face. Oosh! So gory! I can't watch either. Beside her, Shou yawned and stretched. Looks like the winner is decided. This match was a bit dull. Davu was struck by Elder Zhou's technique. He sneered. HMPH. Pathetic. But suddenly, Elder Zhou's eyes flew wide open in a moment no one could have predicted. Davu's sword had already pierced straight through the old man. She smiled triumphantly. I win. Elder Zhou seethed. Damn you, he roared in agony. Then, he collapsed onto the arena floor. The audience was stunned. Elder Zhou is dead. The moment Mo Davu spun with her sword, she had struck his heart. Shou assessed the scene. TSK. This girl's sword is incredibly fast. She pierced her enemy's vital point in a split second. Huang agreed. That's right. In a small sect like this, she'd be considered a top-tier expert. But at the grand tournament of 10,000 sects, there are 10,000 others like her. ... If not 8,000. Shou sighed. But what a pity. She still lost. Just when they thought it was over, Elder Zhou stirred. He gripped the sword embedded in his chest. Pulling it out, he threw it back towards Davu. She was horrified. How is this possible? Elder Zhou rose to his feet, laughing. Who was underestimating? It seems you didn't think this through. Huang remarked. This Elder Zhou ... While he didn't inherit the wolf tribe's immortality, his healing ability is still formidable. Shou looked bored. This match is so tedious. He looked up at the palace master, Ren Qianqi. Do you still wish to save this disciple? The palace master tensed, as the audience murmured. I can't believe Elder Zhou defeated both Yen Luo and Mo Davu by himself, and still has so much energy left. At this rate, even if that Qin Nan luckily defeats Elder Zhou, he could never beat Elder Huang and Elder Yu, with his level of cultivation ... Seizing the opportunity, Elder Yu stood and began his recruitment speech. All disciples from the lower realm, listen up. If you declare your allegiance now, I might consider showing you mercy later, and even forget your past transgressions. You can remain in the divine palace. He continued his threat, but if you continue to resist the God Realm, I guarantee your end will be a miserable one. The lower realm disciples panicked. Brother Fang, what should we do now? Fang's face was a mask of grim despair. Qin Nan took Yen Luo for treatment. ... And he still hasn't returned. Now, Senior Sister Mo is at death's door. Even if Qin Nan gets back, there's no way he can fight continuously. Winning against 3 elders. This ... This is a hopeless battle. Hearing this, the lower realm disciples erupted in chaos. Once the palace master dies, ... And the elders take over, we lower realm disciples will be in grave danger. Brother Fang, make a decision. Brother Fang let out a heavy sigh. He made his choice. It's come to this. There's no other way. Let's go. They walked towards the God Realm side of the stands. The disciples watched them go, complaining, Qin Nan, Mo Davu, Yin Lo. We can only blame those 3 for being useless. If we knew this would happen, we never would have supported them. If they hadn't led the rebellion against the God Realm's oppression, we wouldn't be facing this humiliation. Not like this. The scene made the God Realm disciples howl with laughter. Aren't these the lowly trash from the lower realm who wanted to rebel against us? Why are they coming over to the God Realm section? A blond man sneered. Don't ask. They probably missed the good old days of being our dogs. A blue-haired man burst out laughing. Brother Fang bowed respectfully. Please accept this sincere apology from us, lower realm disciples. We hope you can forget our past mistakes and allow us to continue cultivating with you in the divine palace. The blue-haired man sneered. Forget the past. He then made his condition clear. Fine. If each of you kneels and kowtows 3 times to us, God Realm disciples, we will forgive your past offenses and let you continue training here. The God Realm disciples began to chant, kneel down, kowta. Now, kneel down, and A disciple with a top knot looked panicked. Brother Fang. This! Brother Fang swallowed hard, his face set with grim determination. After a moment of hesitation, the entire group of lower realm disciples made their choice. They knelt down in unison. Then they bowed their heads to the ground. The God Realm disciples roared with delight. They really are just a pack of lowly dogs. Good dogs. Elder Yu approached the palace master. His voice dripped with sarcasm. How does it feel, palace master? The lower realm disciples you always protected are now kneeling at the feet of the God Realms. Disciples. It's time for you to make a choice. His face was a mask of triumph. If you surrender the position of palace master to me now, I can promise not to kill Mo Davu, Qin Nan, or Yin Luo, or those groveling disciples. I can even grant you a clean death. The elder's ultimatum was clear. But if you continue to resist, this Mo Davu, along with Qin Nan and Yin Luo, and even that entire crowd of kneeling disciples, will all die without a proper burial. And you'll die from the poison festering inside you. Palace, Master Qianchu's face darkened as he snarled back. In your dreams. If you want me to step down, you'll have to kill me in front of everyone first. Elder Yu just smirked, feigning righteousness. You underestimate me. How could I kill you in front of everyone? But then his tone shifted dramatically. However, there is someone I can kill in front of everyone. Right now, there's only Mo Davu. The palace master exploded with rage. You dare. Immediately, Elder Zhou yelled from the arena below. Elder Yu, what should I do with this female disciple from the lower realm? Elder Yu spat out a single, cold word. Kill her. Elder Zhou extended his sharp claws, his eyes glinting with murderous intent. Well now, little girl, don't mind if I do. Though covered in wounds, Davu tried to force herself up. I must stand and fight. But her body had reached its limit. She coughed up blood and collapsed. Seeing his chance, Elder Zhou lunged forward to end it. Die. But in that life or death moment, a familiar shadow shot across the arena. Qin Nan had returned. He swung his sword, blocking the blow right in front of Elder Zhou. The old man was shocked. Qin Nan, what do you think you're doing? Qin Nan replied calmly. I'm here to take your miserable life. And he meant it. He swung his sword in a direct attack. Elder Zhou took the full force of the blow, his blood boiling with rage. You brat, you've really angered me now. Behind him, Davu called out weakly, Qin Nan, run. You can't defeat him. But Qin Nan only turned to reassure him. Don't worry. Just leave the rest to me. The elder roared. Perish! Qin Nan began to chant an incantation as his aura surged to the heavens. Heaven burning, purple art, Asura's path. Slay all the dogs under heaven. He unleashed the heaven-shattering sword style. A single, perfect strike. It glided across Elder Zhou's neck. Blood erupted like a fountain. And just like that, the elder's life was extinguished as he collapsed to the ground. Elder Wu froze in place for a full 5 seconds. What? The power of that sword? Did that brat break through to the Quasi-God Realm? The disciples from the God Realm were utterly stunned, their minds completely blank. Qin Nan had actually killed Elder Zhou in a single move. The man named Fang's jaw dropped in disbelief. Is he even stronger than Mo? Could Qin Nan actually turn this situation around? Elder Huang assessed the scene. Elder Zhou's head has been severed from his body. Even with the bloodline of the Wolf clan, there's no coming back from that. Shoutian stretched his arms with a look of amusement. So this fellow named Qin Nan can actually take out Elder Zhou with one attack. Looks like the next 2 matches might finally be a little interesting. Otherwise, I would have died of boredom. Qin Nan stood in the center of the arena, declaring with heroic spirit, Next, I, Qin Nan, will face both of you elders alone. Elder Wu calculated silently in his head. I have now perfected my spirit treasure. Even though this brat broke through to the first level of the Quasi-God Realm, he can't possibly survive the power of my treasure. But this is for the best. As long as Qin Nan dies, these lowly creatures from the lower realm will forever live in fear of me. I will personally crush the last glimmer of hope in their hearts. With this thought, the elder agreed. Fine. I'd like to see just how much strength you pathetic people from the lower realm truly have. Without another word, Qin Nan gently lifted Yu into his arms. I'll take you to get treated. Leave. What happens next to me? Yu only had time to whisper, you have to be careful. With that settled, the stage was left to Qin Nan and Elder Huang. She spoke first. Little brat, I can give you a chance to surrender right now. If we fight for real, I can't guarantee I'll leave your body in one piece. Qin Nan smirked, his retort sharp. You old hags are truly amusing. You know you can't win, so you try to convince others to surrender. Are you perhaps afraid that I'll kill you? Elder Huang snorted coldly. She secretly concealed her trump card, a parasitic insect, in her hand, and said, if that's your choice, then there's nothing more to discuss. Qin Nan immediately activated the heaven-shattering sword style. Elder Huang dodged the attack with flair. I'm not as careless as Elder Zhou. That move won't work on me. Qin Nan made a quick calculation. The 3 4th-grade green talismans and the 1 5th-grade purple talisman must be saved. For Elder Wu. For now, I can only use 3rd-grade talismans. It should be enough to deal with Elder Huang. He then threw 3 talisman stones towards her, unleashing an immense wave of power. As the stones flew, the old woman leaped gracefully into the air. She planted her staff on the ground, standing atop a rock as she looked down at Qin Nan. I didn't expect someone so young, to have cultivated 3 talisman arts. Not bad at all. Hearing this, Qin Nan smiled. Elder Huang, you praise me too much. My talent is just a bit better than Elder Zhou's. The one I just killed. This statement was like adding oil to a fire. The woman's expression changed instantly, seething with rage. But she forced herself to remain calm. Don't think you can provoke me, because there's no need for me to get angry with a dead man. Qin Nan was startled by her words. What? Just as he sensed something was wrong, a hideous bug appeared from nowhere, latching onto his arm. It began to chew on his flesh, injecting a green fluid into his body. Instantly, Qin Nan's body went rigid, as if struck by lightning. His systems temporarily his heart pounded like a war drum as he felt the venom spreading through him. The poison's effects began to show on his face, and the blade in his hand fell to the ground. He could only stand there, completely motionless. Qin Nan gritted his teeth in frustration. I can't move. Seeing this, she sauntered over, speaking as she walked. Bitten by my little pet. You'll find it difficult to even twitch. In the next moment, a sharp blade grazed his cheek. Qin Nan could only watch as she appeared behind him, pressing the blade against his neck. Today, you are a fish on the chopping block, unable to resist or even struggle. You can only let me carve you up as I please. Her words were laced with excitement. The men in the audience sighed in despair at the sight. With Qin Nan about to die, our lower realm has truly lost all hope. We can only be trampled under the feet of the God Realm's people. In another corner, the people of the God Realm laughed heartily. Just you wait. After Qin Nan is dead, and with the 3 elders in charge, the entire dimension-suppressing God, will become the domain of the God Realm. Let's see how you try to please us then. The arrogant crowd continued to laugh without end. On this side, everyone felt helpless, able to do nothing but endure in silence. The old woman's eyes gleamed, a sinister smile spreading across her lips. I gave you a chance to surrender, but you didn't treasure it. It's too late for regrets now. But contrary to her expectations, Qin Nan showed no fear. He just snorted and asked with a glance, You've been raising this little bug for a long time, haven't you? A dark, killing intent radiated from her. She looked down and chuckled. For 35 long years, it has helped me kill more people than you've had meals. Qin Nan smirked back. A pity, because it's about to become nutrients inside my body. Then, in a powerful plot twist, the bug was suddenly absorbed by a force from within Qin Nan himself. It was torn into 100 pieces before the woman's shocked eyes. She couldn't believe what she was seeing. feeling as if she'd been struck by lightning. What? What is happening? But Qin Nan looked like he was thoroughly enjoying it. As expected of the bug elder Huang raised for 35 years. The spiritual energy in its body is truly potent. It's far more powerful than any of those vast heaven pills or grand heaven pills. In the next instant, a terrifying surge of power exploded from Qin Nan's body. High above, the platinum-haired young man shot to his feet, his eyes shining brightly. Incredible. This kid, Qin Nan, I thought he was done for. But he not only turned danger into an opportunity, he even broke through to the second level of the Quasi-God Realm. The woman with jade-green eyes couldn't hide her surprise either. This boy definitely holds many secrets. We must pay close attention to him. The white-haired man on the top floor frowned. What exactly happened in that last moment? Down in the arena, her precious familiar destroyed, the woman stared at Qin Nan, her eyes blazing with fury. She shrieked, "This five-colored light, what is it?" All composure lost, she could only scream in rage. "What's inside your body? Where is my treasured beast?" Qin Nan just offered a cold smirk. "You can take that question with you, to the grave." With those words, he closed the distance in an instant. His hand clamped firmly around the elder's throat. She struggled desperately. "Why? Can I break free?" Qin Nan stared directly into her eyes. "Moments ago, at the first level of the Quasi-God Realm, I was already 100% certain I could kill you. Now that I've broken through to the second level, do you truly believe you can still resist?" Just then, a shout echoed from above. The white-bearded man roared. "Qin Nan, stop your hand!" He soared down from the sky, but he was far too late. Qin Nan released his grip. The woman's face was deathly pale, her eyes wide open in her final moments. A faint snap echoed, and just like that, another elder had fallen. He turned to face the white-bearded man. "Trying to save her? You're too late." Then he glanced at the terrified host, cowering in a corner. "Arbiter, are you not going to announce the end?" The man, pale with fear, stumbled back. "Elder." The white-bearded man finally spoke. "Make the announcement." The host scrambled onto the stage, his voice booming. "The fourth rounds. Victor is Qin Nan. Now, with one true disciple and one elder remaining. ... The next round will be the final battle." This white-bearded man was none other than Elder Yu. He stared at Qin Nan with eyes as cold as ice, yet his lips curled into a smile. "Qin Nan, I must thank you for helping me eliminate those three elders. ... who sought to divide the divine palace with me. I was wondering how I would deal with them after I became palace master." Qin Nan immediately shot back. "If you truly want to thank me, then kill yourself here and now to atone for your sins in front of all the lower realm disciples." The words struck a nerve. The elder's voice dripped with venom. "With that arrogance of yours, ... you have successfully earned my wrath. Therefore, I will retract my promise to spare the lower realm disciples. When I become the palace master, the moment I take charge, every single person from the lower realm in this divine palace will die." Hearing this, the lower realm disciples clutched their heads in panic. "It's over. This time, we're really done for. It's all that damned Qin Nan's fault. If he wants to die, why drag us down with him? He's the one who angered Elder Yu. We didn't do anything." The brown-haired man saw the rising panic and asked, "But what if Qin Nan wins?" The crowd immediately erupted in protest. "Even if he's the best among the disciples. ... compared to Elder Yu's fourth-level Quasi-God Realm, he's nothing but a joke." The entire crowd turned on him in an instant. "A fourth-level Quasi-God can forge a spirit treasure. Do you think Qin Nan can possibly stand against that? He should die to atone for his actions." A roar of condemnation swept through the stands. "Qin Nan must die to atone. Qin Nan must die to atone. Qin Nan must die to atone." Elder Yu let out a contemptuous laugh. "Do you see this? This is the pathetic nature of you lower realm disciples. No matter how hard you fight for them, in the end, They will never remember your good deeds. All they want is for you to die. Qin Nan's brow furrowed. What they think of me is irrelevant. All that matters is killing you. With a final word, he charged forward like a whirlwind. His blade raised up. A powerful sword strike swept past, but the elder dodged with ease. In the next second, Qin Nan unleashed the heavenly sword art. A massive explosion rocked the arena. As the smoke cleared, the elder stood completely unharmed, a brilliantly glowing golden object in his hand. A spirit treasure. The moment he saw it, Qin Nan was stunned. This was the real deal. Only cultivators, who had surpassed the 4th level of the Quasi-God Realm, could refine spirit-infused artifacts, like weapons and armor, into true spirit treasures. The small cauldron in Elder Yu's hand, there was no mistaking it. The very air around Elder Yu grew, heavy with oppressive power. He held up his precious treasure and sneered. I'm surprised a brat like you even recognizes a spirit treasure. That's right, ... This is the refined spirit treasure. The 3 mysteries. Spirit gathering. A tense expression crossed Qin Nan's face. A spirit treasure was truly terrifying. The shield it had just projected was enough to completely block the 10th move of his calamity. Sword art. From above, the artifact manifested 3 blazing golden swords. 3 mysteries swords. Immediately, all 3 blades shot towards Qin Nan. He had no choice. But to desperately parry the assault with his blade. After deflecting the attack, Qin Nan thought to himself, normally, a martial artist needs time between techniques. Yet this Elder Yu was able to launch the 3 mystery swords again within seconds. Could this be the power of the spirit treasure? Just as he predicted, the Elder's treasure morphed again, forming a sharp, pointed spear. Violet crystal spear. The colossal weapon shot straight for Qin Nan, forcing him to leap high into the air to dodge. But he then noticed a strange aura radiating from the artifact. Qin Nan's face paled as he planted his blade into the ground for support. Of course, the 3 mysteries spirit gathering cauldron must have the effect of gathering spirit energy, allowing him to continuously ... unleash his martial skills in a short time. His expression grew serious as he made a decision. In that case, my only option is to go on the offensive. Qin Nan took out a jade stone. I wonder how the power of a 4th grade talisman will stack up against a spirit treasure. He immediately unleashed a barrage of sharp marble shards. Power of the talisman. Myriad miles of ice. The man stood still, a scornful smirk playing on his lips. For a lowly being from the lower realm to unleash a 4th grade talisman art, I must admit, I'm a little surprised. But sadly, this level of power is nothing. Before my spirit treasure. Flames suddenly erupted around the elder's body, and brilliant shields materialized, blocking every single attack without effort. The sheer force of the impact blew away everything nearby. The spectators held their breath. Someone whispered, I can't believe the lower realm disciple Qin Nan has mastered a 4th grade talisman art. This is completely unexpected. Even the late Elder Huang could only just barely use 4th grade talisman arts. The woman watched intently. Among the countless sects in the primordial sun domain, martial artists who can use 4th grade talisman arts or higher are exceedingly rare. This Qin Nan, despite being from the lower realm, possesses a spiritual talent that is in no way inferior to those from the God Realm. How very interesting. The platinum-haired man beside her turned. To receive praise from a 4th grade talisman genius like you is no easy feat. It's clear this Qin Nan truly has some skill. Down in the arena, Elder Yu stood firm as a mountain, protected by his impenetrable shield. Qin Nan frowned, clutching the jade talisman tightly. A 4th grade art, and it hadn't even left a scratch. So, this spirit treasure is truly this fearsome. The old man gloated. Well, do you finally see the vast chasm between our realms? Do you think reaching the Quasi-God Realm gives you the right to challenge me? His face twisted with a murderous sneer. Qin Nan, your naivete is laughable. Immediately, he poured his power into the artifact and roared. Our lineage from the divine realm is something a lower realm peasant like you could never hope to comprehend. A horrifying wave of energy shot straight toward Qin Nan, who swiftly raised his blade to block. The elder soared into the air, looking down on him. You people struggle your entire lives, and if you're lucky, you might ascend to the divine realm from the peak of your continent. But for us, we are born superior to your very existence, you lowly mortals. As he spoke, he unleashed a barrage of attacks, completely suppressing Qin Nan. All he could do was brace himself against the onslaught. On the grandstand, the two spectators grew more intrigued. The platinum-haired man remarked, "The great sword in that boy's hand. Though it's a gold-grade weapon, it's not a spirit treasure. Ultimately, it stands no chance against Elder Wu's artifact." The woman agreed. The three mystic spirit gathering cauldron in Elder Wu's hands is likely a high-grade gold spirit treasure. If Qin Nan could somehow turn his Fen Tian sword into a spirit treasure, he might have a fighting chance against Elder Wu. But she then turned away. Unfortunately, with his second-level Quasi-God Realm cultivation, Qin Nan isn't qualified to perform the spirity infusion to refine one. Down below, Qin Nan desperately searched for an opening. The Fen Tian sword can't hold out much longer. I have to think of something. I can't let this spirit cauldron attack freely anymore. Above, Elder Wu continued his relentless assault. Can you possibly block a full-powered strike from my spirit treasure? With that, he channeled all his power into a single, decisive blow. Qin Nan roared, mustering all his strength to block the attack. The impact was terrifying, kicking up a cloud of dust and metal shards. Qin Nan's face turned pale. He looked at his blade. The Fen Tian sword, shattered. He stared at the fragments in disbelief. How is this possible? The crowd outside gasped in shock. The girl with braided hair turned to the Yu and asked, Qin Nan's weapon is completely broken. Can he still defeat Elder Wu now? The Yu was just as worried. Whether in terms of realm or weaponry, Qin Nan is at a total disadvantage. But he ascended from the lower continent, and today he's facing the great elder of the divine palace. That alone proves he's not one to admit defeat, so, as Ali, both girls placed their faith in him. We have to believe in him. Right. Trust in him. At that moment, Qin Nan stood in the arena. His sword shattered. Elder Wu approached with a thunderous shout, his eyes dripping with contempt. Qin Nan, do you have any last words? The crowd from the divine realm jeered in delight. They screamed, Elder Wu, kill him! Kill Qin Nan! Kill that scum from the lower realm! Even some from the lower realm spoke bitterly. He clearly knew he couldn't win, yet he insisted on seeking death. It's better if this Qin Nan dies. That way, he won't bring any more trouble to us disciples from the lower realm. Just then, Qin Nan suddenly let out a loud laugh. His razor-sharp eyes met the elder's. The sword is dead, but its wielder is not. Even without this blade, I, Qin Nan, will still defeat you. A powerful aura suddenly erupted from his body, stunning Elder Wu. This aura. What is happening? Qin Nan launched himself from the ground, soaring into the air and thrusting a purple jade stone towards the elder. Power of the rune. Blood Demon Sea! He slammed the jade into Elder Wu's head. The elder's spirit treasure seemed to be struck by lightning, and his entire body froze, unable to move. Elder Wu's eyes widened in shock. A second later, the power spread, and Elder Wu's vision was completely engulfed. He couldn't see anything. He screamed, What? Dot? What is this? The two spectators were astonished. The woman recognized it. That's a 5-grade rune magic. The man had to stand up. Impressive. This Qin Nan. Just when we thought he was defeated, he pulls out a hidden move like this. Elder Wu's vision was now a sea of purple and blue. He roared. What are these demonic things? he was dragged into a grotesque illusion, surrounded by a horde of figures. He screamed in terror as skeletons advanced on him. "Get away from me!" Just then, an axe appeared behind him. An armored skeleton stared at him with murderous intent. The elder unleashed a technique. "Demonic spirits, get away from me." However, all of his attacks were useless against the army of skeletons. His eyes filled with absolute fear. He trembled as two skeletons raised their axes towards him. How can this be? At that moment, a blue flame erupted, engulfing Elder Wu completely, leaving not even a bone behind. Back in reality, Elder Wu had become a lifeless husk, his spiritual energy completely drained. His soul had seemingly fled his body. Someone called out, "Elder Wu." The people above couldn't believe their eyes. What happened? How did Elder Wu end up like this? The woman looked down. She chuckled softly. "If I'm correct, the effect of this 5-grade rune magic is to destroy a warrior's spiritual force, thereby damaging their mind. With such a severe injury, I'm afraid Elder Wu has been turned into a complete fool," the platinum-haired man exclaimed. "You practitioners of rune magic, you all are truly formidable. Not only can you use so many powerful spells, but you can also wield such dangerous abilities." The woman smiled proudly. "There's powerful magic you haven't even seen yet. I've heard some can even summon ancient gods down in the arena." Qin Nan began to absorb the spiritual energy from Elder Wu. As the power flowed into his body, he smirked. "This spirit treasure is quite powerful. In that case, I'll be taking it." "Then," he declared loudly, "your Elder Wu has been struck by my 5-grade rune magic and has lost the ability to fight. The supervisor can now announce the results." The official walked onto the stage. Seeing Elder Wu's condition, he was left speechless with shock. How is this possible? He stared at the man before him. Elder Wu's entire body was trembling uncontrollably. A master like him, who had even refined a peerless spirit treasure. How could he have lost? Elder Wu's eyes rolled back as he mumbled incoherently like a madman. The official lifted him up, trying to call out, "Elder Wu, please come to your senses." But only silence answered him. The official sighed. Elder Wu has become an imp. He truly has lost the ability to fight. He then stood up and announced to everyone, "I declare that in this duel, Qin Nan is the victor." Today, in the selection tournament for the Myriad Sex Assembly, Qin Nan, Yin Luo, and Mo. You are the 3 winners, and have earned the right to participate. Hearing this news, Yin Luo cheered with joy. "Awesome! We won!" Beside him, the Yu couldn't hide her happiness either. She smiled. "Yes, we did. Victory is ours. We've finally defeated the 3 elders. From now on, lower realm disciples in the Dark Mang Divine Palace will suffer no more." Meanwhile, the palace master was overjoyed by the news. He praised Qin Nan. "Well done. I knew I wasn't wrong about you." The crowd finally snapped out of their shock, looking at each other in disbelief. "Qin Nan, they actually won." A murmur of praise began to spread. "This Qin Nan is something else. And to think we were so disappointed in him before. How foolish we were." The gaunt-eyed man turned to the others. "We didn't just disbelieve in Qin Nan. We were practically hoping for his demise. Thinking back, we're lower realm disciples too. Our actions were truly shameful. We must find a chance to apologize to Qin Nan, Yin Luo, and Mo Yu." Everyone voiced their agreement. On the God Realm's side, after witnessing this catastrophic failure, no one could believe their eyes. What are we going to do? 3 of the 4 elders are dead, and the last one has lost his mind. How can we possibly protect ourselves now? If those lower realm disciples decide to take revenge, we're all dead for sure. From the grandstand, the palace master announced, with joy, "Everyone, the selection battle has now concluded. I hereby congratulate our 3 new core disciples, Qin Nan, Yin Luo, and Mo Yu." Below, Qin Nan waved to the 2 girls. "Come on down. This honor belongs to all 3 of us." The 2 quickly flew down to join Qin Nan. The team was finally complete, their faces beaming with happiness. The palace master smiled warmly, applauding their triumph. The entire arena erupted with confetti and endless praise for the trio. Yuku smiled at Qin Nan and said, "If you hadn't stepped up when you did, Yin Luo and I would have died at the hands of those elders." Yin Luo added with a smile, "That's right. With my strength and Sister Yu's, we couldn't have possibly fought them. This victory is all thanks to you." Qin Nan replied humbly, "The three of us stood as one against the elders. This victory belongs to all of us. We shouldn't credit just one person. The honor is shared between us." The two girls nodded in agreement, and the three headed off to the celebratory banquet. The palace master warmly introduced them. "Let me make an introduction. These two are elite disciples from the Qin Sword Alliance, here as honored guests." The two men raised their cups in unison. "Congratulations on your victory today. We hope you'll look after us during the upcoming 10,000 Sex Grand Assembly." The trio smiled and returned the gesture. "You're too kind. Our cultivation is still weak. We'll be the ones needing Brother Jin and Brother Yin's guidance." The platinum-haired man laughed heartily. "Brother Qin, you're truly an interesting person." Then he continued, "In that case, allow me to tell you three about the 10,000 Sex Grand Assembly." Qin Nan's expression grew eager. "We'd be grateful, Brother Jin." The palace master stood up and explained solemnly, "Here in the Yuanyang region, there are over 10,000 factions in total. Among them are countless sects, as well as various martial halls, divine temples, and divine palaces. Though the factions are many, the resources within the region are finite. Back in the era of the high gods, these factions warred endlessly over these limited resources. Countless cultivators perished in the slaughter, causing the Yuanyang region's overall strength to plummet. The demon realm seized this opportunity to invade, plunging us into a 1,000-year war. Though the demon race was eventually pushed back, we learned a harsh lesson. To avoid another great war, the factions established a new rule, the 10,000 Sex Grand Assembly. At this assembly, the Yuanyang Divine Ranking was created. Each faction sends representatives to compete, and after the tournament, they are ranked according to their performance. This ranking then determines the share of resources each faction receives." Hearing this, the palace master let out a bitter laugh. "It's shameful. My Dark Meng Divine Palace has been at the bottom of the ranks for years. The resources we receive are pitiful, making it impossible to raise powerful disciples. If we rank last again this year, double quotes, ... The Dark Meng Divine Palace will be absorbed by the Poison Dragon Hall, the current last place holder." The platinum-haired man continued, "Palace Master Ren, there's no need for shame. My Qin Sword Alliance is always ranked 10th from the bottom. Being in the lower ranks is a struggle. Besides, among the thousands of factions in the Yuanyang region, the gap between the top ranks and bottom feeders like us, ... is immense. For example, if the best disciple from my Qin Sword Alliance went to the number 1 ranked faction, ... they wouldn't even be qualified to carry their shoes." Hearing this, Yin Luo shot to her feet. "Is it really that terrifying? Does that mean we're destined to be crushed? This competition sounds like we're just signing up to be someone's punching bag." The woman stood and explained, "The Grand Assembly is crucial, but you don't need to be so ... Alarmed. To balance the massive power disparity, the region lord divided the 10,000 factions into 10 battle zones of roughly equal strength, and within each battle zone, there are 100 factions." Qin Nan's interest was suddenly piqued. "I see. So we don't need to worry about the other 9 battle zones. We only need to compete against the 100 factions in our own zone." The man nodded. "Brother Qin is correct. However, if you manage to rank in the top 10 of your zone, ... you can participate in the final 100 sex decisive battle, where the rewards are incredibly rich. Of course, for bottom-ranked factions like ours ... double quotes ... Reaching the top 10 is just a dream." But Qin Nan was filled with unshakable confidence. "Brother Jin, no need to be so grim. Who's to say we won't make it to the top 10? Just like before, the fight with the 4 great elders. I didn't think I had a chance of winning then, either. His words ignited a spark of hope in the man, who raised his cup. Brother Qin, you're right. Let's all strive together. With that, everyone raised their cups and shouted, "Together!" before taking their seats again. The woman then spoke. There is something I must remind Palace Master Ren about. The last rank poison dragon hall is infamous for its poison arts. The Gu poison in your body. It's highly likely they colluded with the 4 great elders and poisoned you in secret. The palace master's face darkened with rage. I've suspected them as well. After all, if the dark ... double quotes ... Mang Divine Palace ranks last again, we will be absorbed by them. They have the most to gain if something were to happen to me. Yin Luel was puzzled. But those 4 great elders must have been fools. They knew the Poison Dragon Hall's ambitions, yet they still helped them. Once the Divine Palace is taken over, double quotes ... It's not like they'd get any sweet deals, right? Yu turned to explain. The elders weren't foolish. Even if they failed to seize control of our palace, ... They could still secure a high position within the Poison Dragon Hall. To them, it was a win-win situation with minimal risk. Qin Nan and the others looked at each other with renewed determination. So, to prevent the Dark Mang Divine Palace from being absorbed, we 3 must cultivate diligently, crush the Poison Dragon Hall, and find an antidote for the Palace Master. Qin Nan teased Yin Luo. It seems that after battling the elders, you've finally found your motivation. Actually wanting to train on your own, Yin Luo just snorted in response. I was trying my absolute best. I really was. But deep down, I knew I couldn't keep holding Brother Qin Nan back anymore. The Yu then added softly, Yin Luo, it's not just you. I have to get stronger, too. I must rapidly increase my power, so I don't become a burden to Qin Nan. Nearby, Qin Nan gripped his wine glass, his heart heavy with worry. I also have to focus on my cultivation. My heaven-burning sword was shattered by Elder Wu, and without its aid, I can only rely on my own strength to compensate for the lack of a weapon. Just then, the man named Jin spoke up. Brother Qin's heaven-burning sword is an emperor-grade weapon. Such things aren't rare in the God Realm, so there's a good chance it can be repaired. Qin Nan was startled. Truly, seeing his blank look, the woman chuckled. Qin Nan, you haven't realized yet, have you? Jin Jushan is a renowned blacksmith in our Qin Heaven Sword Alliance, best known for forging weapons and armor. Hearing her boast about him, the man quickly cleared his throat. Don't expose my secrets. I must remain humble. Humble. Upon hearing this, Qin Nan leaped to his feet in joy and offered a respectful bow. If Brother Jin can repair my heaven-burning sword, I, Qin Nan, will be eternally grateful. The man quickly replied, Brother Qin, there is no need for such formalities. When the time comes, we can just watch each other's backs at the 10,000 sex assembly. Repairing your weapon is just my way of finding a reliable ally. But then he added, however, repairing an emperor-grade weapon requires another emperor treasure as the material. Brother Qin, do you happen to have another one? Qin Nan scratched his head. An emperor-grade treasure. I did acquire 3 Juan-ruling cauldrons from Elder Wu. I believe they are emperor-grade spirit treasures. Would those work? The man smiled. Of course. Just give me 1 month's time. I will not only repair your heaven-burning sword, but I can even imbue it with a spirit, transforming it into a true spirit treasure. Qin Nan was overwhelmed with gratitude. Then I must trouble Brother Jin. Jin shook his head. No trouble at all. But we mustn't delay. To finish repairing your sword before the 10,000 sex assembly begins, I must return to the Qin Heaven Sword Alliance immediately. With that said, the 2 of them stood up and departed. Farewell. Qin Nan waved from behind. Brother Jin, travel safely. Watching their retreating figures, Yin Luo felt a sense of unease and asked Qin Nan, aren't you afraid this Jin Jushan will steal your heaven-burning sword and your spirit treasure? Qin Nan admitted, honestly, I am a bit worried. She hesitated. Then, why did you... ... After a moment, he replied, perhaps this is just the trust between men. I trust him. With that settled, he turned to the two women. All right, we have 1 month left. The three of us must train diligently for the 10,000 sex assembly. In 1 month, we must at least defeat the poison dragon hall. No more finishing last. And at the same time, we must find the antidote for the palace master. The rule discriminating against those from the lower realms was set by the domain lord. Today, only our dark light, divine palace, will not look down on us. That's why we must protect it. We cannot be absorbed by the poison dragon hall. The Yu nodded in agreement. Let's do our best. Yin Luo also declared with fierce determination, let's fight. 1 month later, Mo Yu was still deep in meditation. Suddenly, she felt a powerful energy surge within her. Her seclusion was over. She had finally achieved a breakthrough. Qin Nan stood nearby, clapping in celebration. Senior Sister Mo had successfully broken through to the first level of the Quasi-God Realm. She slowly rose to her feet to break through to the first level of the Quasi-God Realm. Proves this past month of effort wasn't wasted. But I'm still a long way from your second level Quasi-God Realm. He extended a hand to help her. He sighed. I've trained for a whole month, but it feels like my second level Quasi-God Realm shows no signs of advancing. I've heard that many martial artists remain stuck in the Quasi-God Realm for their entire lives. Qin Nan began his dramatic monologue. Perhaps for my entire life. This second level of the Quasi-God Realm will be my limit. The Yu could only offer a wry smile at his blatant false modesty. Let's just spare each other the act. Before they could relax, bang! An earth-shattering explosion erupted from behind them, kicking up a cloud of dust and smoke. A fist had punched straight through the stone wall. The culprit was none other than Yin Luo, our resident destroyer. Recognizing the familiar figure, Qin Nan and the Yu rushed over to investigate. Yin Luo, by the looks of it, your realm has also had a breakthrough. She beamed, smiling playfully as she replied, I'm just like Sister the Yu. I've also broken through to the first level of the Quasi-God Realm. Seeing all three were on the path of progress, Qin Nan excitedly announced, excellent. All three of us have reached the Quasi-God Realm, right before the 10,000 sex assembly. We should be able to hold our own in the tournament now. The Yu also boosted the team's morale. Tomorrow is the 10,000 sex assembly. Let's give it everything we've got. Yin Luo, standing beside them, was burning with fighting spirit. Let's go to the 10,000 sex assembly. The next morning, the trio got ready and headed straight for the competition grounds. A perfect day for a martial arts exchange. As they walked, the Yu shared some gossip. I heard we might be able to see the domain lord at the assembly. Qin Nan asked blankly, the domain lord? Yin Lu's eyes lit up with excitement. That's right. They say if you perform well at the assembly, the domain lord himself will appear. He'll personally give rewards to these genius martial artists. You might even win his favor and be accepted as his disciple. Hearing this, Qin Nan's smile instantly vanished. A horrifying film replayed in his mind. Asterisk. Very good. It seems the domain lord is very eager to see me. Asterisk. Asterisk. The domain lord planted a fatal poison in my body, intending for me to die. Then he destroyed the realm bridge, preventing anyone from the Tianyin continent from ascending to the God Realm for 10,000 years. Asterisk. Asterisk. Such cruel and heartless methods. How can I possibly let him live in peace? I will make him pay 1,000, no, 1,000,000 times over. Before long, the three of them stood before the majestic gates of Huang Holy City. The Yu walked ahead, saying, this must be Yuanyang Holy City. It's said that representatives from all 10,000 sects gather in this great city. Suddenly, 2 guards at the gate flew out, blocking their path with arrogant expressions. Hey, what are you three doing here? Qin Nan replied politely. We are here to participate in the 10,000 sects assembly. One of them questioned further, and which power do you represent? Yin Luo eagerly peeked out from behind. "We are from the Darklight Divine Palace." Upon hearing their answer, the two guards feigned surprise before breaking into open mockery. "The Darklight Divine Palace. Isn't that the sect that's perpetually ranked last in the world? And now we finally get to see them in the flesh." They then turned to each other, smirking derisively. "A trash sect like that actually has the nerve to send people to compete." A guard blocked their path, arms crossed. "Get lost," he sneered. "Don't come here and disgrace yourselves." Yin Lu's blood boiled as her battle instincts ignited. "Hey, what kind of attitude is that? Apologize to us, now." But the guard simply smirked. "Apologize," he scoffed. "Does trash like you even deserve one?" His words were like oil on a raging fire. Yin Luo was seething with fury but helpless, wishing she could just land a punch. Seeing the situation escalating, Qin Nan stepped forward, placing a hand on her shoulder. "Yin Luo, don't waste your breath." He turned to the guards, his expression like ice. "In this world, only the strength of your fists, double quotes, ... can make petty fools shut their mouths." Without another word, he shot forward like lightning, seizing the mocking guard by the throat. Qin Nan's face was a mask of cold indifference as he stared him down. The guard choked, struggling for air, only managing to let out a few muffled gasps. Seeing his comrade about to be crushed, the other guard drew his sword, roaring, "You brat, you're courting death." He charged forward, but Qin Nan didn't even flinch, still holding the first guard with one hand, while his other unleashed the vine-binding kill talisman. Instantly, a forest of vines erupted from the earth, ensnaring the charging attacker. Bound tightly, he could only stare in utter disbelief. A third-grade talisman technique. You! How can a piece of trash from the Darklight Divine Palace unleash such incredible power? Watching this overwhelming display from behind, the Yu couldn't help but be impressed. So this is the power of that new third-grade technique. After his harsh demonstration, Qin Nan asked coldly, "With merely the power of a first-level quasi-god, you dare act so arrogantly before me? Are you ready to speak with respect now?" The god in his grasp was already on the verge of death. Sensing a life was about to be snuffed out, Qin Nan loosened his grip. The soldier, having just escaped death's door, gasped desperately, "Release my partner. I'll guide you into the holy city." Qin Nan began to negotiate. "I can let him go. But shouldn't you offer something in exchange for his life?" The guard was furious, but powerless. Seeing his hesitation, Qin Nan added a threat if you refuse. "I can just let him die." Terrified his friend would die because of him, the guard quickly pulled a pouch from his robes. "Here are 10 Origin Yang pills. They serve as currency within the Origin Yang Holy City. They're all yours." After taking the pills, Qin Nan released the second guard. The two were about to bolt when Qin Nan's voice stopped them cold. "Lead the way." Having been scared half to death, the two guards were now as obedient as puppies. Yes, right this way." Feeling vindicated, Yin Luo said with a grin, "Brother Qin Nan, you are absolutely right. Only a strong fist can make these lowly scoundrels submit." The three of them followed the guards into the city. One of them began to explain, "Distinguished guests, this is the main square of the 10th war zone. 100 sects and factions, including your own Darklight Divine Palace, are all gathered here in the outer district of the 10th war zone. Living, cultivation. All the resources you need can be found here. We have other duties, so we must take our leave." Hearing this, Qin Nan simply waved his hand. Scram. Having escaped their predicament, the two guards were ecstatic and fled immediately. "Let's get out of here." The Yu watched them go, remarking with deep sarcasm, "The Origin Yang Holy City certainly knows how to give a warm welcome." But Qin Nan, all too familiar with the ways of the world, calmly explained, "Our strength is still lacking. We'll face this kind of prejudice everywhere we go. The only thing we can do is grow stronger, and quickly. Until then, We need to find a foothold for ourselves here in the outer district of the 10th War Zone. As they were wandering, a familiar voice called out, "Well, if it isn't Brother Qin, we were just about to come looking for you." Seeing a friendly face, Qin Nan greeted him with a smile. "It's Brother Jin and Brother Yin." Then, his curiosity piqued. He glanced at the short person standing between them. "And is this your son?" The comment landed with a thud. The person in the middle shot Qin Nan a glare that could kill, while Jin Shushan and Yin Hongchun's faces turned beet red as they stared at the ground. Shaoshan coughed awkwardly to break the tension. "Brother Qin, you've misunderstood. There's nothing of the sort between myself and Yin Huan." He then made the introduction. "Allow me to introduce you, Brother Qin. This is another representative from our Qin Heaven Sword Alliance, Tong Boxi." Realizing he had just made a massive blunder, Qin Nan quickly bowed in apology. "My apologies for my earlier rudeness. Brother Tong, please forgive me." But Buxi was clearly still fuming, letting out a cold huff before turning away. Qin Nan thought, "Great, I've definitely made an enemy of him now." Shaoshan quickly changed the subject. "All right, since we've all just arrived, there's a lot to prepare. How about we find a place to stay first?" Qin Nan nodded. "That was our plan as well. So, Jin Shaoshan led the group away. I'll take you to the market district. There's an exchange there that handles lodging." Arriving at an inn, Shaoshan put on the air of a big spender. "Innkeeper, 6 rooms for us," he thought to himself. Even though the Qin Heaven Sword Alliance is ranked 10th from the bottom on the Arjun Young God board, we're still far stronger than their Dark Light Divine Palace. I have to show Qin Nan the true power of the Qin Heaven Sword Alliance. The innkeeper shot him a sideways glance and stated flatly, "The cheapest rooms. ... Go for 1 origin yang pill each, for 6 people. That's 6 origin yang pills. Pay up." Hearing the astronomical price, Jin Shaoshan jumped, almost fainting on the spot. 6 origin yang pills. That's outrageous. Seeing Shaoshan's loud reaction was drawing unwanted attention, Qin Nan stepped forward. "Brother Jin, there's no need to force it. Allow me to pay." It was then he realized the pills he'd taken from the golden armored guard were actual currency. Shaoshan, seeing someone offering to take the hit for him, felt a wave of embarrassment. "Brother Qin, how could I possibly allow that? This is your first time here. As your senior, I must be the one to handle the accommodations." But then he stammered, ... But if you truly insist on helping out, well, I suppose I can't stop you." Seeing Shushan was at least trying, Qin Nan said, "Very well. I'll leave it in your hands, Brother Jin. All bark and no bite." Shaoshan shot a nervous glance at the innkeeper. He crept back to the counter and whispered, "Excuse me, ma'am, do you perhaps have anything cheaper?" The innkeeper's expression soured instantly, and she looked at him with utter contempt. Shaoshan tried to salvage the situation. "All of my brothers are watching. Please, give me a little face here." At that, the innkeeper's patience ran out. She slammed her ledger down on the counter, fuming. "If you don't have the money, then you don't have it. Stop putting on a big show. We have the outhouse 100 Chaos Heaven pills." The innkeeper's final blow sent the surrounding crowd into roaring laughter. Shaoshan's face flushed crimson, the air filled with judgmental whispers. His shame twisted into fury, and his face turned purple with rage. You're taking this too far," he screamed. "A single origin yang pill. Who can just pull one of those out?" Even a top-tier faction would struggle. Just then, their savior, Qin Nan, stepped forward. He placed a pouch firmly on the counter. He held up a single pure yang pill, his voice firm. "Your best accommodations." Once the innkeeper inspected it, her eyes blazed with greed, her attitude doing a complete 180. Right away, she swiftly snatched the pouch, placed 6 room keys on the table, and urged him to be careful. Witnessing this incredible transaction, Shou Tian was left completely speechless. The entire crowd that had been mocking them moments ago changed their tune instantly. How can this be? A single pure yang pill is worth 1,000 chaotic sky pills. It seems Brother Qin Nan is the real powerhouse here. Had he not been following Brother Jin to the latrine, the whispers would have once again targeted Shoutian, leaving him silently fuming. Qin Nan could only scratch his head in confusion. So, the pure young pill is that valuable. I thought it was worthless. That night, instead of staying in his room, Qin Nan went outside to reflect, taking stock of his new reality, here in this sacred, pure Yang city. Even the elite, golden-armored guards possess the power of a first-level Quasi-God Realm, Elder Huang, a fourth-level Quasi-God who could refine spirit treasures, was ranked at the very bottom. The representatives from other factions all had realms far higher than his. With his current second-level Quasi-God cultivation, he feared he couldn't even take on the Poison Dragon Palace, let alone attract the Domain Lord's attention. He gazed up at the towering spire. The massive blue orb at its peak seemed to be a source of power that sustained the entire city. My 5 elements. Body can absorb the 5 elemental spirit energies. ... Double quotes, ... and even the spirit key from heavenly treasures. If this gemstone contains 5 elements energy, perhaps I can absorb it too. The thought sparked action. He reached out, trying to draw its power. I must close my eyes, feel the gem's energy carefully, and absorb it. Absorb. But reality is often disappointing. Several minutes passed with absolutely nothing happening, leaving him stunned for a good 5 seconds. He sighed. It seems I was overthinking things. How could something so strange be possible? I must be going crazy, obsessed with leveling up my realm. But just as he finished that thought, the gemstone atop the tower suddenly flared to life, shining like a searchlight. The intense glow even woke a sleep in Yin Luo. She rubbed her eyes. Is it morning already? The Yu, who was meditating, was also drawn to the light. That must be the location of the sacred city's tower. What's going on? A moment ago it was silent, and now it's shining so brightly. Qin Nan was equally bewildered. What? ... What is happening? To his astonishment, the energy from the gemstone was slowly being absorbed by him. The sight left him utterly stunned. This... what is this? Realizing this was a heaven-sent opportunity, he quickly raised his hands to absorb the stream of pure spirit ki. Still, Qin Nan couldn't believe his eyes. This is pure energy condensed from the 5 elements, and actually... He could feel the abundant power coursing through his body. As the power buff ended, he sensed a monumental change. My realm. It actually broke through. I am now at the 3rd level of the Demigod Realm. But it didn't stop there. He continued to absorb another stream of energy. Clenching his fist, Qin Nan couldn't hide his satisfaction. 4th level Demigod Realm. Just one absorption from the gem's pure energy. Let me break through. 2 minor realms. At my current level, I can finally use spirit treasures. But mid-celebration, he paused. Wait, the light and the pure spirit key have both vanished. But I'm so far from the tower. How did I absorb the energy from that gemstone? Normally, I can only absorb the 5 elements power within my palm's reach. Could it be that after breaking through to the Demigod Realm, my absorption range also increased? Whatever. I shouldn't overthink it for now. I need to get out of here first. With a light that bright. ... There are bound to be countless masters in the city who have taken notice. With that thought, he vanished. Meanwhile, in a distant place, a pair of eyes had sensed the change. Inside a chamber, a man with platinum hair and a crow perched on his shoulder spoke. Jaya Wenruo pays his respects to the Domain Lord. The old man, seated on the high throne, asked, What is it? He bowed his head. Reporting to the Domain Lord. The 5 elements sacred stone had a portion of its energy absorbed by someone, which caused a brilliant light. The old man raged. Who would dare be so audacious? When Rue replied, The specifics are unknown. Only that it came from the direction of the 10th war zone. The old man was shocked. The 10th war zone? From that group of trash? Model.